minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday.
Yep.
We made it to the middle of the week.
Welcome to it.
Yes.
In case you're wondering why DJs always say the day of the week that it is so many times, it's legitimately because we forget. At least this, I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah.
I say it all the time because if I don't, I'm just going to randomly say it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why my brain does that, but it does that.
Defaults to Thursday.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And in my line of work and you know what I do, you have to start everything over from scratch. That always sucks.
I guess it's the same thing, you know how like comics that are on the road all the time? And they're like, oh, it's good to be in Detroit. And you're like, you're in Cleveland, bud.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Different city every night. You never know what town you're in.
Yeah.
Similar to that, it's also kind of a mnemonic device. Like if you ever have like met those people that when you meet them, they say your name like a bunch of times. Like, hey, Mike, how you doing, Mike? Good to see you, Mike. It's nice to meet you. It's because they're trying to cement in their head that you're Mike.
I think that's a tactic, too.
Yeah.
Depending on what point the person's trying. Like, if they're trying to sell you something or try to convince you to do something that they want you to do, then that's a tactic to use your name.
I would agree, but I'm going to say this right now. Outside of just meeting someone and them saying my name a bunch of times, because I've encountered that a lot. Outside of that, I hate it when someone puts my name in a sentence. You know what I'm talking about, Mike? I hate that.
Yeah?
Like, it drives me nuts, Mike. I can't stand it. You know what I'm talking about, Mike? It's infuriating.
I do, Sean.
Doesn't it? Didn't it just like, it hits on a certain level, Mike. I can't stand it. Even doing that little example was like, oh, I hate myself right now for this. Because I've known those people that'll just be like, they'll just put my name, like for impact or for whatever reason. It's like, that's expositional.
Yeah.
We're not on a movie set. You don't have to say my name right now.
Well,
I know who I am. I'm aware.
Well, it's a taught behavior for some. And I know, like in sales, it's used as a technique. It's used in any kind of where you're teaching people to try to.
It's meant to endear.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, it's one of these things that they try to instill a sense of caring, endearing. You know, like I'm engaged in you because I say your name. That means I'm investing in you and talking to you.
And maybe that worked for like the one guy who pitched that technique, but. It just makes me feel oogie.
Some people it works well with, others it just depends on people's mindset. You know, some people, and I think I'm in that vein a little bit, are wired just to like every time someone talks to me, I'm like, "What's your angle, dude?"
All right. What are you after? No, I understand that.
I'm on guard for that a little bit.
I'm a father, so that's naturally like the approach that I take as well. It's like. You want something from me. And my daughter's the worst at it. She'll come out of her room and be like, Daddy, I love you. I'm like, oh, what do you want? I will literally say, stop beating around the bush and just ask for the thing that you want. Yeah. Understanding, because she hates when I say no. Understanding that I reserve the right to say no.
Right. But don't try to butter me up first.
Right.
Just hit me with what you want and let us deal with that issue. Don't try to pee on my leg and tell him it's raining.
Exactly.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to it.
You get more and more sarcastic as the week goes. On Monday, you're kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, new outlook on life. By Friday, you're like, screw everybody.
Yeah, we're just chewed up, spit out at that point.
I'll light it all on fire. Well, happy Wednesday. You're kind of right in the middle of all that, right? You're not ready to light on fire, but you're you're not exactly here to listen to the buttery warm people either.
We're just the violin on the hill while the world burns.
Oh, man. Yeah, I did actually get some sad news yesterday, and I know I'm joking here now, but my uncle passed away yesterday, my Uncle Jim. And I think I've told a few stories about my Uncle Jim.
I believe, Jim's come up a couple of times
on the show. He's a character, man. He was the on my mother's side.
Okay.
My mother. There's 3 children on that side. My mother was the oldest. Jimmy, the middle, and then I have another aunt, Lori, who's my only aunt on that side left. That was the youngest, and so my Uncle Jim passed away yesterday. He would have been 68.
Oh man,
December 4th. But he's an alcoholic. He's like many that were on that side of the family. A lot of alcoholism and he's part of that too. And he never really was one to take care of himself. Like, to be honest, 68's a good run for him. I mean that's longer than
my dad
I would have given him.
Made it to 59, and so yeah, that's a pretty good run. 68.
Yeah, and he wasn't one that took, like, he didn't like, he hardly ate. He drank like a fish. He was, he liked his Mary Jane, and he was, but
so he made some good choices.
Well, he drank so much that if he didn't drink, it'd be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, his body required it at this point.
I see. Yeah.
to function. And so
yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, but yeah, he passed away, and unfortunately, it was my cousin, his daughter, was kind of the one taking care of him. He was living on his own in a little apartment, but they had gotten COVID, and so they hadn't been over to the house in like a week because they were all COVID, and turned out, yeah, he passed away sometime during that time. They had COVID and didn't visit for like 7 days, and he passed away. But his health been declining for a while, just because of the years of alcohol and, not taking care of himself. And but he was a funny dude. He was just one of those guys that's very, like, he lived with us. He was rarely independent. He was married. His wife is a soup sandwich too, messed up. And matter of fact, she's, I think, in a nursing home now because she's destroyed herself. And so I got my 2 cousins, and they're awesome, successful people, despite their parents, kind of thing. And
I literally had that thought cross my mind today as I was getting back in my car, dropping my kids off. I'm like, my kids are better than they're like more awesome than I deserve. Sometimes.
I think every parent,
it was just like, well, I
hope thinks that.
I dropped them off, and they climb into bed with mom, and Hunter like rolls over and like gives his sister just a big gigantic hug, or like wraps his arms around her neck and just like starts cuddling with her. I'm like, they're awesome. That made me smile.
Yeah, I hope every parent thinks that. I would hope. I think every parent wants, like, what I'm saying. You just want
better for the next generation. I posted something the other day. It was like I feel like the thing that my biggest contribution to life is not what I do, but who I raise.
Yeah.
Is the what I'm giving to the world and the next generation.
There's something to be said for that. Although, don't sell yourself short either.
Right.
But yes, I understand the sentiment there.
I do good radio and I make good kids. How about that?
There you go. I'm all out of bubble gum. But anyway.
I came here to chew gum, make kids, and make good radio. I'm all out of gum.
But yeah, my uncle was a trip to live with us and all that. So yeah, it was my brother called me when I got home from work shortly there. It was about 4:00, and my brother, I was like, and as soon as the phone rang, it was my brother. Just because it was 4:00 on a weekday, I was like, something's not good.
Something ain't right.
Yeah, this is not his normal time to be calling me. And, hey, you okay? Everything good? Time? I was like, yeah. What's up? And he told me. I was like, oh man. And then and then we talked stories about my uncle, and then of course called my aunt and a couple other people, and it's just one of those things. Like I'm sad. I'm not surprised. And
see, you never want somebody. I mean, as far as like leaving a legacy, you just hope that nobody ever says, "I'm not surprised" when you pass.
Yeah,
that's a rough one.
Well, that's. I mean,
I know. I
truth.
understand. I completely understand.
The man lived an unhealthy lifestyle. This is just a matter of time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is what it is. But I would say this though. I mean, of that side of the family, he had the long run. You know, my aunt's still alive. That's she's doing well too. But like my grandmother on that side, my grandmother died in her 50s. My grandfather died in his 40s before I was even born.
Oh wow.
My mom was in her mid 50s. There's not longevity on that side of the fence over here. So for him to go 68, I'm like, wow, he kind of outlived, his father, his mother. And that's, it's sad, but true.
Right.
So that's why people look at me and I'm like, yeah, based on my lineage, you ain't got me for much. Like, get used to me here. I don't know how much longer I got based on my family history.
I do have a borderline morbid question.
Okay.
Did he go out in any specific reason, or like was
No. He died of natural causes.
So
he died in his bed or trying to get out of bed, or it was it wasn't nothing like.
One thing I got to give my father is you got to give the man credit for going out in style. I mean, if nothing else, he gave me a story. See, I'm sure I've told this story before. My mom's favorite holiday is St. Patrick's Day, bar none. She loves St. Patrick's Day. She goes.
Is she Irish?
Oh yeah, we're Irish,
okay,
Scotch, Irish, Welsh.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that was. I'm like, that's
no, 100% Mexican actually. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Well, would not surprise me.
La raza. But anyways, no. It's her favorite holiday. She goes all out. She'll speak with a brug the whole day. She makes like the traditional like corned beef and cabbage, and therein begins the story because. Well, before my dad, she made a whole corned beef and cabbage like meal for St. Patrick's Day. Before my dad went to bed, he decided to grab the ladle and just go to town on that, like the pot liquors, whatever it's called, that sauce that they cook the corned beef in. She took a big old swig out of a ladle. That later led to him aspirating, and that's sort of what took him out.
Wow.
The story therein, though, is that in my dad going out, he took out my mom's favorite holiday in the process.
Oh,
I mean, you got to give the man credit for taking one out with him. You got to give him credit. If nothing else, he's like, you know what? I'm going down. I'm taking you with me, St. Patrick's Day.
So let me ask.
It was March 23rd, 22nd, I think.
So does your mother still look at St. Patty's Day the same way, or
it's a rough sell?
Oh man,
it's a rough sell.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
especially for someone who loved the holiday so much. I mean, if it was one of those things where you're like. All right. Well, and I hate to do this. We talk holidays. I looked at Kim yesterday. I said October.
October. You're not wrong because you have a lot of history in October.
Yeah, October, and I've told this story. It's just a bad month for my family, and let's go down the list. All right. My father died in October. No, let me back up. He died November 1.
Okay.
He actually.
But October is what did it.
Yeah, he was. He actually died November 1, but he died. My mother died in October. Kim's grandmother, both grandmothers, died in October.
Wow, that's rough.
Kim's sister died in October.
I remember that one.
Now my uncle. And then Kim was matter of fact, with Kim's head thing, she told me yesterday after I was talking about Jim and all that, she goes, I was thinking about that with my head stuff. I was like, shut your mouth. I was like, that happened in August, first off. Right. But I was like, she goes, I know, but to get through October, I said, don't put that voodoo out in the world.
Don't you put that evil in the world.
So,
well, this conversation just got super dark this morning.
I apologize.
No, it sort of just came up organically.
It's just been my last 24 hours.
Sure.
And, my Uncle Jim. But yeah,
this show becomes it manifests like whatever the emotions of the hosts are going through. Like yesterday, I was talking about wanting to buy a yo-yo.
Yeah,
and today we're talking about death. It's like
I've always said this is my version of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've
100%.
Yeah, this is instead of me paying someone to listen to me, I someone's dumb enough to pay me to talk. So, here we sit. But yeah, my Uncle Jim, he was one of a kind. And
what a bummer, man.
The part that makes me laugh about him was him trying to be funny, but just offensive. But not even like just personally offensive. Mm-hmm. Like he looks at you and like his automatic default's like, "Oh man, look at you, man. You look good. You haven't missed a meal." And you're like, you just backhanded compliment saying I look fat. But he does that to everybody in every way. He's like, "Oh, look at you. You look like you've been eating well," and you're just like, "Dang." Or
here's the thing, and I know this because I've been responsible for this on a time or two. After the fact, that person will sit there and go, "What did I just say?" Case in point, last week I was interviewing a band, and that band was on The Voice.
Okay.
That band got taken out on The Voice by none other than Morgan Wallen, who's actually like a famous country artist.
Oh.
I brought that up and was like, "But you guys are still doing good, performing at a Roswell County Fair."
Was it kind of like, yeah?
I didn't mean it like that at all. I was like, at least you got taken out by the best. If you got taken out, you got taken out by the best. That's what I meant.
Right.
But what it came off as is, wow, you guys are performing at County Fair. Morgan Wallen's doing pretty good, isn't he? It's like, oh. Afterwards, I was like, no.
Number one on The Voice is at the big arenas. Number two is at the county fair.
It's just like, I didn't mean it like it sounded. Roswell's still pretty big. I mean, we're the big time, man.
My shoe is awful tasty.
Exactly. We get Kane Brown here once.
Yeah, that's kind of my uncle. It's like you'll see somebody. It's like, "Oh, look at you. You looks like you can afford bad hair dye," and he's just like, what? He's just.
It's you know what it is? It's every woman who's talking to another woman.
Yeah.
They're like, "I love how you can just wear whatever you." Have you ever heard two women talking together? Uh-huh. It's some of the most like vitriolic conversation you'll ever hear, but it's all backhanded compliments.
Yeah.
It's like, "I love how you can just wear your hair however you want." It's so freeing. Wow. Linda, you're kind of a jerk.
Right. Matter of fact, my brother, this was a story he told me back couple months ago. My brother took my uncle Jimmy to Caps Washington Capitals hockey game. My uncle's the biggest sports fan. Redskins, Commanders now, Wizards, Orioles, Nats. That was his thing. He got the paper every day, which for us locally was the Washington Post.
Oh wow.
And
dang. Name dropper.
I'm not a fan of that paper. It's as crooked as they come. But anyway, and he grabbed that sports section and go right to the box scores. That was his deal every time. So, but anyway, my brother took him to a Washington Capitals game, and like I said, he's an alcoholic and he's broke and everything. So he tries to stick a. He has a pint of whatever cheap whiskey he got a hold of, that's whatever it is. And he had it in his coat or whatever, and he had to go through the detector to get into the game, and he just started pulling everything out. He pulled that whiskey out, put it in the
oh wow
in the cup thing, and they said, "You can't bring that in." He goes, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that." And he put it back and tried to.
I mean, you got to give the guy props for trying. He's like, "My car's all the way back there." And
the security was very cool up, but yeah, he just outed himself trying to get it. He would have actually got away with it.
Right.
He just like, "Oh, I didn't mean to put that there." Anyway, that's my Uncle Jim.
That's pretty good.
Our guest for this hour, I haven't done the rundown, have I? No. We got busy talking.
We were way into death.
Yeah,
it's fine.
The Chaves County Federated Republican Women are going to join us here. I think it's just Margaret today. That's all I've seen there. Margaret Kinnert there with us, so she'll join us here in just a minute. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Brian Luck, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent, will join us and give us an update what happened at their last school board meeting yesterday. And then don't have a guest scheduled for the 9 o'clock hour, so we had the folks from the Roswell Community Little Theater join us yesterday talking about their latest play that opens up this weekend, The Unexpected Guest, Agatha Christie's play. And so we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and take a look at that weather, which pretty nice if you like sunny and 80.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Temperatures will stay pretty comfortable over the next couple of days with a fair weather pattern in place. High pressure is off to our west, and that'll be covering our area with sunshine today. Our afternoon high should be in the low 80s, down to 50 and clear for the overnight hours. Lots of sun coming up on Thursday. Looks like we'll stay in the upper 70s and then back up to about 80 with plenty of sunshine Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 56 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 72%. Winds currently out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Sunny today, highs near 80 expected. Winds will be out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 51 and south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny, 79 for you Thursday. Winds will be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 52, southeast winds 5 to 10. And then for you Friday, sunny, highs right around 80 with northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for the weekend, there is a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms for Saturday afternoon. Otherwise, mostly sunny, high of 84. On Sunday, we're looking at a 70% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 65 for a high on Sunday. So, yeah. Looks like really good rain chances Sunday and Monday of next week. And then even Tuesday looks like about a 50% chance. But it is weather in southeast New Mexico. That might change between now and Sunday. But that's what they're saying at the moment. All right, 7:26, we're going to take a 3-minute commercial break. And then Margaret Kennard is going to join us on the other side with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. I got it all right, all the words and everything. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection saves lives. Take care of yourself by staying up to date on your mammograms at Artesia General Hospital. Their 3D mammography brings you the most accurate technology with your comfort and convenience in mind. Appointments average just 15 minutes. If you're a woman over age 40, you don't need a doctor's referral to schedule a mammogram. Remember, early detection saves lives. Request your appointment today at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Come check out a favorite fall family attraction in Artesia. Heirloom Acres Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch is now open weekends in October. Get lost in the 8-acre corn maze. Pick a pumpkin straight from the patch. Take a ride on the kiddie zip line. Indulge in one of many tasty eats from the concessions. And enjoy roasting s'mores around one of our campfires. Come out weekends in October to Heirloom Acres, located 1 mile east of Artesia on Highway 82. Heirloom Acres, where you're sure to find joy this fall. Paid for by Eddy County Lodgers Tax.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
Representative Greg Nybert has always and continues to believe in less government interference in our lives, Second Amendment rights, strong and consistent enforcement of the law, no leniency for criminals, right to life, and government spending within its means. Greg Nybert has represented House District 59 fairly and consistently. Please vote for Greg Nybert, District 59.
Paid for by Greg Nibert for State Representative, Richard Taylor, Treasurer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:30, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, Margaret Kinnard back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Good. So, well, we're like less than a month away from the election. It's hard to believe that, but I'm glad because, with the season of, you can't get through a commercial break without 37 political ads right now.
Right.
I'll be ready for that to go away. But
yes.
But yeah, it's early voting's actually started. We're in the final approach of this election here. For folks that aren't familiar, the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, they actually meet once a month. Is it third Wednesday?
It is the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday. I always get the Wednesdays mixed up.
Look, we have you trained up.
That's tough to do, and I'm hard to wrangle. But for the third Wednesday a month, they meet at the convention center, and for the last several months, and will for this up through the election, have been showcasing and spotlighting various state, county, even national level candidates that are up for election here, and getting folks opportunities to come and hear these individuals speak and ask questions and talk to them before you go to the polls to vote here, beginning now. So we would love to, before you go vote, at least come out to the next meeting here next Wednesday and hear the lineup for this next one.
Yes. And so this next week, we have our state judicial candidates. So we have Thomas Montoya, who is running for Supreme Court.
Okay.
We have Barbara Johnson, who's running for Court of Appeals.
Okay.
And we have Gertrude Lee, who is running for the Appeals Court as well.
Okay. This is one of those ones that's probably really good to go, because let's face it, we all do a lot of research for Congress people, Senate people, commissioners, things like that. But when it comes to judges and things, you're kind of, there's not it's the least political spot in generally these elected positions. But but really it's where these are skill sets. I'm not saying to run for Congress you don't need skill sets, but positions like judge, those are specialized skills. Not everyone can be a judge.
Right.
You know what I mean? And where I'm not saying not anyone can be a member of Congress or something, but at the same time,
there are qualifications you have to meet.
Like if you have no knowledge of the law, it's really hard for you to be a judge.
Yeah. and these are, very important positions because everything runs through our legal system.
Sure. And obviously your family with your dad and everybody, I mean, y'all know about judges and things like that. So you understand why it's important to research and understand, what judges, what positions, because to be honest, their political opinion shouldn't matter that much. What really matters when it comes to judges is how do they interpret the law, and do they interpret the law properly? And at the end of the day, that's their job. Their job's not to get involved in which side's politically, which side's the one that you need to listen to. And no, what does the law say and how do I apply it? And that's what a judge does. So, that's why we say it's the least political position there is.
Well, and, we had an appointed Supreme Court justice who, I'm trying to remember his name now, but he was out of Hobbs.
Okay.
And I believe he was appointed by Susana Martinez several years ago. And he obviously didn't get he didn't get voted for at election because he was appointed to fill a position. And then but one of the things that he said was that he brought diversity to the Supreme Court in that he was from rural New Mexico. Oftentimes you find on the Supreme Court are justices who live in the metro area or Santa Fe area.
They don't understand the way of life in the rural parts. They know the city part. Mm-hmm. So So they're not necessarily experts on how things work in rural parts of the country.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, and having said that, then you kind of know what the Supreme Court of New Mexico is made up of politically.
Gotcha.
Because it kind of is like here in southeast New Mexico, we're conservative, whereas up north in those metropolitan areas, you have more, Democrats representing. So that was pretty interesting and stuck with me.
Seeing the difference.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Whenever he was
Which is a
campaigning.
good point because, from someone like me thinks of it this way, and you're like, what point, DR shouldn't matter when it comes to a judge.
Mm-hmm.
It's here's the law. It's pretty black and white. Interpret it the way you're supposed to interpret it. You know what I mean? But I understand experience does come into play, especially on the sentencing side. That's where they get the latitude is, what convicted sentences are dictated based on that, but they do get a lot of latitude. Do they want to go to the more harsher side of the sentence or the more lenient side of the sentence? And that's where some of that might come into play a little bit is their mindset, their reasoning. What, does this person deserve punishment or does this person deserve a wake-up call or a lesson learned here kind of moment? And that's where that ideology comes into play a little bit.
Yeah.
So interesting. So that's where you get to hear the judges talk and things like that.
And so this is, I think it's something, so every election cycle, I've been involved with the Republican women for, I want to say going on 10 years or so. And so this is one of the meetings that I really enjoy. We also are going to be hearing from Giovanna Eisenberg. I think that's the correct way to say her name. But she comes down. She's been involved in the judicial candidates campaigns nearly every year that I have been around. And there are things that judges can and can't say. So she's going to let us know what you can and can't ask a judge.
Gotcha.
And kind of discuss. So judicial candidates cannot ask for contributions. So that's one of the things but in order to run in a political campaign, you need contributions.
You need money, right.
So that's one of the things that she'll talk about and some other things. I really enjoy listening to her talk and educating us about, these types of things.
Sure.
Another thing, last month we had Cindy Fuller come and speak, and we also had Aunt Thornton.
Chaves County clerk.
Yes, a Chaves County clerk. And she, Aunt Thornton was our other speaker.
Lieutenant governor candidate.
Yes. And so anyway, but what she brought with her, and I think, is important for everybody to know, she brought a sample ballot. So if you don't have a sample ballot, you can go online and get your sample ballot at the voter portal. And I Googled it last night just because I wanted to make sure I could tell everybody. But you just go in there and I typed in SOS, Secretary of State, voter portal, New Mexico. And I was able to look and see who was going to be on my ballot.
Okay.
And because a lot of times you hear Mark Ronchetti is going to be on the ballot. You don't know about the judicial candidates.
Sure.
And most people, including myself, do not know that there's, 2 or 3 constitutional amendments.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course the bonds as well,
right.
Bond C, D, and those ones that impact colleges and libraries and things like that. And you need to know that information. And not to mention with redistricting for the congressional districts, I hate to spoil this for me, but odds are you do not have the same representative representing you right now that you did in the last time you voted.
Correct.
Almost everybody here was District 2 before the redistricting. Now very few of us are in District 2 anymore. You're either in 1 or 3 probably,
right,
depending on what part of town you live. I think unless you're in like the extreme parts of the county, like the Boot Heel, you're not in 2 anymore. I don't remember the exact.
I'm in 3.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Alexis.
in 1.
Oh, you are?
I'm in 1. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I thought I was in 3 as well, and
Uh-huh.
it turned out I was in 1. I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing. So please go to that portal or reach out to the Chaves County Clerk's office. They'll be happy to kind of navigate you to that if you can't figure out how to do it.
So helpful.
Yeah.
And there was something else I was going to mention to you. Oh, yeah. And we had Dr. Powell and MG Grizzle at one of our previous, I want to say 2 meetings ago, who talked about the bond issue. And those are no tax increase bonds.
Yeah, please. They cannot ask you to vote for it. I can. Yeah. I think you can, too.
I did. At our meeting, they said, we can't ask you. And I said, well, I'm asking you.
Yeah. It is please do not just ignore those. That's it does not generate any more tax dollars out of your pocket. These are bonds that they have to vote on every was it year or 2 years? I don't remember the cycle. And it's just to reassure that they're going to keep giving these money, that the public is okay with giving these monies to, I think bond C is the one for the colleges and B for the libraries. I could be off on that, but
yes, you're right. I think
so. And so every year now, the colleges here in Roswell, it is NMMI and ENMUR both benefit. Every college in the state gets monies from these, and they have them earmarked for projects. I think ENMUR, it's a lot more of some of the security lighting, that kind of, there's some kind of water management or something they've got to do with it. So that money's getting put to there. NMMI, that money's going towards a remodel renovation of their dining facilities, which every time we have a conversation about doing anything construction related at NMMI, it almost takes an act of Congress, because just about every buildings out there is a historical landmark, which means there's certain techniques, certain oversights, certain everything that's involved with that. So, so they use that money to really upgrade a facility, which is very nice, but it's outdated for its usefulness. It needs to be modernized to meet the needs of NMMI today. When you have old buildings and old historic things, sometimes they get outgrown, and their dining facilities that way now. So that's what that money's going for. So when you vote yes for that, that's what it's for.
Right.
And same with the bond B, which is the libraries, the college libraries, your school libraries, the Roswell and city libraries all benefit from that too. That's how they get more books and more materials and more programs available to you for free of charge. So please vote yes on all those.
And, to have the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell and Eastern New Mexico University Roswell here, I benefited personally from, going to ENMUR and not having to make that drive to Portales until I had to make the drive to Portales to finish my degree. But so many of our children and our adults, reap the benefits of having those facilities, those institutions here. And so I think we really do need to support that.
Yeah.
And
I think as a whole, this part of the state is usually pretty overwhelming supportive of those, and they usually pass. But don't sleep on it. Please make sure you do it.
And it's not listed in there, on the ballot. So
just some people forget to turn over ballots and do things, or some people look at these questions and automatically ignore them. They're very important. To be honest, sometimes those questions they ask on the back are, if not as important, more important than some of the decisions you make on the front of that ballot. You know, it really does have a big impact on this state and this community. So, educate yourself before.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. Every month we try and bring relevant issues to our members, and anyone is invited to come. We would love to have you. We would also love for you to become a member. We are rounding out the membership year. We had 150 members here in Chaves County, making us the largest club in the state at that in September. So
nice.
So we're in a pretty steep competition with Farmington. We're always it's a healthy competition.
Yeah, it's a friendly competition.
We want everybody to have lots of members.
Rumble at 12.
But anyway, we do try to bring a relevant and educational meeting every month. We've had forums in the past. We'll probably continue to do that. So let me tell you about what we're having for lunch. And I just have to brag on the convention center chefs. There are 3 new chefs. One is from Dallas, Texas. One is from, I'm going to mess this up, I want to say Louisiana or maybe that. I think they
like
think
Creole country.
Yes.
All right.
So
Cajun.
Yes, and the other one I'm not sure where she's from, but they are phenomenal. And for them to come here to Roswell, I'm not sure why. I'll have to ask them sometime why they came here. But I think
we abducted them.
Yeah. But anyway, so if
cool.
you're interested in attending next week, we are going to be having buttermilk fried chicken.
Nice.
Creamy garlic mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and iced lemon cake for dessert. And so our room sponsor for this month is Representative Greg Nybert.
Okay.
And so anyway, we if you'd like to attend, you can reach us on the Facebook, or we have an email for RSVPing.
Come for the food and stay for the conversation.
Exactly. RSVPCCFRW@gmail.com.
Very good. And yes, and do that sooner rather than later so they can get a head count. But and by the way, if you want to come, but you're like, I can't, I'm on a diet, I can't eat delicious fried chicken. That's okay. You can come without having to order food. But if you like, I'm ready to eat. Come and eat and sit and listen and ask your questions afterwards too.
Right.
By the way, to add more confusion, I did get a text saying that they have renamed the bonds to 1, 2, and 3 instead of A, B, C, which. In case they want to make things more convoluted, it's like, hey, in the middle election, let's go from letters to numbers,
Right.
Because, why not?
Yep. So it's going to be the last bond on that.
Somebody's saving their job doing weird stuff like that. We need to change them. Why? Because I have nothing else to do, and they're going to fire me if I don't do this.
Yeah. I wanted to mention next month is going to be a very special month. Every year in November, at the Republican Women Luncheon, we honor veterans. So if you know of a veteran, or your spouse or family members a veteran, and you want to honor them, we are going to be doing that next month.
Nice.
Give us, contact us, and we can make sure that they are honored at that meeting.
I'm sure between our VFW and our American Legion posts, I'm sure there's a few
and
individuals
we are
in the
working
groups
with Big Lou at the American Legion.
Oh, nice.
To pull this off, to make sure that we
good deal
honor as many people
he's
as
a good
we can.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah, Louis boy, he's been on a bunch of times.
Has he?
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
He's my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So good deal. Yeah, he knows. He's a good resource for picking, spotting, and rounding up some veterans. He knows a few. So and he's been involved with the school forever.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nice guy.
So I met him when he ran, and he was a guest at the Republican Women. So that's how I met him.
Oh, okay.
Several years ago when he ran for school board.
Okay. Very cool. Well, yeah, he's pretty active American Legion and still school and everything else too. So good for him. But don't forget, put it on your calendars 1 week from today.
Yes.
Next Wednesday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. About 11:30, right? It's when everything kind of gets underway.
About 11:30.
Yeah.
That'll give you some time to, talk to the candidates.
Yeah.
Either before or after.
Have your nice buttermilk fried chicken and green bean casserole and lemon cake and garlic mashed potatoes. Is that what the other one? I was like, I'm trying to remember everything, but
got it. So this is like the. I guess they still do it on the radio, the lunch report in the morning. I don't know.
The school. We haven't done one in a while. I probably need to get back to doing that. I kind of got off the stick on that, but because I have to go hunt it down and then I forget, and then here we sit. So
I couldn't remember if you did it or
I used
just heard
to,
it on
but then it just kind of faded away, and then no one yelled at me, so then it just kind of went that way. So I should bring it back though. I'll do that. Well, people, if you all want it, tell me. If not, if you don't care, then I won't do it either. So let me know if you want it, and I will work on trying to remember to do that.
Well, you got the Republican Women Lunch Report, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fried chicken. Good deal. But again, that's next Wednesday, 1 week from today.
Yes.
And then mark it on your calendars. They meet the third Wednesday of every month. And I know, the November one probably, that'll be the calm after the storm, that one.
Yes.
But still, come out and meet, and because there's still a lot of good information there. When there's not direct election stuff, a lot of it they're working on scholarships and youth, and so it's busy, the political cycle. But outside of that, they focus. I mean, obviously they're always working on Republican issues and things, but they kind of turn focus to more community minded service
right
type events.
Well, and hopefully after the new year, if we have some new leadership up in Santa Fe, we'll be able to bring some of those speakers down,
sure.
Following the session and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're always 2 years away from another big election. So
right. It's a never-ending vicious cycle, right?
Absolutely. It is. Again, give out the information if anybody has any questions, wants to learn more, want to RSVP, anything, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Now, you do not have to be just a woman.
Right.
Men are also allowed to be a part as part of the kind of an auxiliary or part of the the support group of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. So men, women, they're all invited to come be a part.
Right. So the associates are for men, but they're also for anyone under 18.
Okay.
And or that might be a member of another club in New Mexico.
Okay.
So but anyway, so if you can get us on Facebook. We're toying right now with the idea of making an Instagram. But anyway, we are on Facebook, and like I said, you can RSVP to rsvpccfrw@gmail.com.
Good deal. So. And then come on out next Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And,
join us. It'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and ask questions and get more involved. If you're interested in becoming a part of the organization, be a lot of people you can talk to on Wednesday. Come hungry and come ready to listen and come ready to get involved.
Yes.
So, good deal. Did we get it all?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ma'am. As always, Margaret, appreciate the visit. We'll see you guys next time and keep busy. I know it's hot and heavy this next couple weeks.
Right.
And by the way, if you're wanting to get more involved in candidates, Republican candidates campaigns, Chaves County Federated Republican Women are very good at putting you in touch with those campaigns and things. So if you're saying, hey, I want to help candidate X, they'll be happy to get you in touch with the people you need to get in touch with.
And just to put it out there, the Republican Party of Chaves County is working on some walking days for candidates coming up. So
be on the lookout for that if you want to get involved.
They also have a Facebook page, the Republican Party of Chaves County.
Very good. And that way you can sign up, get involved there, and meet and learn more resources and things to get involved too.
Yes.
So good deal. Well, thank you, ma'am. We'll see you next time. All right.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Don't work too hard. 7:52. Let's go ahead and get you into local news, Kim Commando, and sports. All that coming up here in just one big conglomerate goop. Here it is. Enjoy.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Foundations and their roles in supporting certain City of Roswell public facilities and activities will be the topic of the city's third public forum. The forum is scheduled for Tuesday, the 18th, at the Roswell Convention Center from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. It will also be accessible on the city's Facebook page and YouTube channel. The forum will be hosted by City Manager Joe Neeb. Citizens are asked to submit their questions and feedback online before the event. Eddy County leaders are moving forward with plans to rehab a park north of Carlsbad. Public Works Director Jason Burns said watering at Happy Valley Park could create more strain to the water supply for users of Happy Valley Water Co-op, and because of that, using drinking water for commercial and recreational purposes was not an option for park improvements. Despite no deal on the water, the teardown of certain portions of the park and cleanup of some playing surfaces will likely move forward by the end of this year. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
It's been at the top of the tech wish list for decades, the ability to unsend a text message. If you own an iPhone 8 or newer, you can and should update your iPhone's operating system to iOS 16. It's free, and it comes with loads of new features, including the ability to unsend that text. But there's a big caveat. Unsending is not as foolproof as it sounds. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by CarShield. Thanks to their protection plans, surprise breakdowns are easy to handle. Save 10% at carshield.com/Kim. We've all sent a text that we instantly wish we could call back. Here's what Apple's come up with. Using iOS 16, you can unsend the text, but only if you're sending it to another iPhone, not an Android, and only if you delete the text within 2 minutes of sending it. This works because we usually realize our mistake in about 2 seconds. If the recipient reads the text before you unsend it, you're out of luck. What's done is done. It's not a perfect solution, but it's better than nothing. Get my new daily podcast for more tech smarts. It's called Kim Commando Today. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like leaving your laptop on the coffee shop table while you run to the bathroom. Most of the time, you're probably fine. But what if one day you come out of the bathroom and your laptop's gone? That's why I use ExpressVPN, and you should too. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, a hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data. It just takes a little technical knowledge and some cheap hardware. A smart 12-year-old could do it. ExpressVPN creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet, so your online activity can't be seen by anyone. It works on phones, laptops, even routers, so everyone who shares your Wi-Fi is protected. All you have to do is just fire up the ExpressVPN app and click one button. Protect yourself at expressvpn.com/Kim. Use my link at expressvpn.com/Kim to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Temperatures will stay pretty comfortable over the next couple of days with a fair weather pattern in place. High pressure is off to our west, and that'll be covering our area with sunshine today. Our afternoon high should be in the low 80s, down to 50 and clear for the overnight hours. Lots of sun coming up on Thursday. Looks like we'll stay in the upper 70s and then back up to about 80 with plenty of sunshine Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got some soccer action going on yesterday, and the Roswell girls soccer team really gave Hobbs all it wanted on the road before falling. Hobbs won last night by a 5-4 count, but it went into overtime before the Eagles could claim victory. Roswell is now 0-3-1 in district, looking for that first district win. They'll try again on Saturday on the road at Carlsbad. That starts at 1 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Roswell boys lost at home to a Hobbs team that's now 14-3-1 overall. That was a blowout. 7-0 was the final score there. Roswell will play at home against Carlsbad boys soccer Saturday at 1 o'clock. Got a volleyball score from last night. Hagerman moves to 2-0 in district play, 7-7 overall, beating Tatum in a 3-0 sweep. Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Ready for some good economic news? Guess not. But New Mexico was 4th best in the nation to reduce its unemployment rate over the last 12 months. That's what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says. There are 2 strategies Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has championed that have a lot to do with this: the Job Training Incentive Program and the Local Economic Development Act. They help companies expand, hire, and train thousands of new workers each year. For example, the expansion of these training programs that Michelle Lujan Grisham got through the legislature helped land Intel's new chip hub in Rio Rancho. That's 1,000 construction jobs and 700 new hires at high salaries. The Lujan Grisham administration now partners with 85 communities across the state to bring good new jobs to their local areas every year. It's true. Michelle Lujan Grisham delivers a stronger economy, not just the weather.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Labor Department's newly released Producer Price Index shows wholesale inflation rose 8.5% in September from 1 year earlier. Prices were up 0.4% in September from August. That followed 2 consecutive month-over-month declines. President Biden is angry at the Saudis for going along with OPEC's decision to produce less oil.
President Biden had been urging more oil production to ease gasoline prices and punish Moscow for its aggression in Ukraine. But OPEC Plus opted to cut production, angering the White House.
By the decision that OPEC Plus made last week, they certainly are aligning themselves with Russia.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the president is now reevaluating America's relationship with Saudi Arabia and the oil alliance, but there is no timeline for the review. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A now former Texas police officer charged in the shooting of a teen who was gravely wounded.
San Antonio police say 25-year-old James Brennan has been fired and arrested, charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault by a peace officer for shooting 17-year-old Eric Cantu, who was in his car eating a hamburger in a McDonald's parking lot. In body camera video, Brennan opens the car door and tells Cantu to get out. Car drives backward, door open. The officer fires multiple times. He continues to shoot as the car drives away.
That's correspondent Tim McGuire. More questions about the health of Pennsylvania U.S. Senate candidate John Fetterman. An MSNBC reporter who recently conducted a one-on-one interview with the Democrat says that Fetterman has a hard time understanding what he is hearing. He still has some problems. Fetterman suffered a stroke. He's to have a debate with Republican challenger Dr. Oz in a couple of weeks. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Public health officials in India ordering a pharmaceutical company to halt production of cough medicines that may be linked to the deaths of dozens of youngsters in Africa.
The health minister in India's Haryana state said inspections at a factory of Maiden Pharmaceuticals found several violations of good practices. Last week, samples of all 4 Maiden products that had been exported to the Gambia had been sent for testing. Officials in the West African nation say they are investigating the deaths of 66 children, which are linked to 4 brands of cough syrups imported from India. The World Health Organization last week issued a global alert over the syrups, saying they contain unacceptable amounts of chemical substances that are toxic.
That's BBC's Embarrassan Etirajan. As anti-government protests continue across Iran for a 4th week, tens of thousands of Iranians living abroad have marched on the streets of Europe, North America, and beyond. Townhall.com. They say politics is a blood sport, and this may prove that to be true. Eagles fans on hand for this weekend showdown with Dallas will be greeted by billboards accusing Republican Senate candidate Dr. Oz of supporting the Cowboys.
Democrat John Fetterman's campaign says it will erect 2 billboards that read, Dr. Oz is a Cowboys fan, and elect a real Pennsylvanian, vote Fetterman. Fetterman's campaign manager says Oz's support for Dallas in the past, quote, gets to the heart of who this guy really is. Democrats continue to portray Oz as an out-of-state carpetbagger. The Oz campaign has made recent gains against Fetterman, portraying him as anti-law enforcement and soft on crime. Bob Agnew reporting.
Ukraine's biggest nuclear plant, surrounded by Russian troops, has lost all external power that's needed for vital safety systems. Second time this has happened in a span of 5 days. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The Deuce. Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. ¿Dónde están mis lápiz?
I don't know.
Ah, there it is.
I was going to say, here,
I'm
you
good
use
now.
the crab claw.
I got it. We're good. We're
All
good.
right.
I was writing on the calendar up here and left it up there. So all's right in the world. No crisis averted. Averted it. We're good
Everybody,
to go.
calm down. Call off the Coast Guard.
Nothing to see here.
Mike found his pen.
We found the pen.
It's all good.
All good here. So, happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Happy hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Happy Deuce to you.
Happy Deuce.
Hope everything's going well.
Yeah.
I think I'm at a point now where I might start watching the new Game of Thrones show.
Oh, House of the Dragon?
Yeah. I think there's enough episodes under the belt where I don't know I don't know
into the lore of it.
Well, I enjoyed the first series. I remember, like, I started that one late too. They were into like the last season before I started watching Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last season was coming out because they kept saying winter's coming, for 50 years. And finally people were like, oh, winter's actually coming now. I was like, all right, now I'm in.
Right.
And then I went and watched like all of the seasons leading up to the final one. And then I watched the final one. And then probably the last 2 to 4 episodes I watched in not real time, but when they were coming out episodically, I was on board and caught up by then.
Sure.
So I ended up enjoying that. This one, I'm just not ready to wrap my head around a whole new, because it's a new series. It's a prequel. Mm-hmm. So there's not new it's all new characters and everything. So I'm like, all right, I got to get my head around getting back into liking that story again and all that.
I watched the first season. I did give it that. And it was okay. There was nothing about it that really pulled me in. And I've never been a huge fan of that style of show either. Like swords, dragons.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I will say this. It's better after the first season. The first season, they're trying to get...
That's what everybody says about every show. That's what I say about every show.
But here's why on this one. That first season, they were trying to reel you in. Trying to get you to like the show.
I've heard it was like extra salacious.
That's what they went to the point of throwing the violence level up, the sexual content up.
Mm-hmm.
They really ran that up on this one, and I'm like, holy cow, it's just a filthy thing full of fighting and I can't say the rest on the radio. I just want to, you know what I mean?
Hand stuff.
and so, and I'm like, all right. But then I was still kind of interested, I'm like, all right, this thing with the dragons and the eggs, and all right, it's kind of interesting. And then, but once after that first season, they kind of settle into the story, and it's not like all gratuitous. Now, don't get me wrong. They still slip in their violence.
Well, that was never.
But it wasn't all just gratuitous like it was the first season.
Now,
it didn't seem like.
In fairness, that was never really my problem with the show.
Yeah.
I just don't like medieval stuff. I've never liked that kind of like the whole King Arthur thing. It's
Yeah.
like it's not.
Well, and I think if
I feel like I would fail at a Ren Fair.
Yeah. Well, and this is not. It takes place in that, but the story is kind of that, family tribes, the coming together, and then they add the zombie factor with the white
everybody has to have
walkers
zombies.
and all that
Right.
to the north, and so that's where it got interesting. But yeah, they drug it out for 20 years, making it like, winter's coming. That means these walkers are coming, and they dragged that out for 50 seasons, and then finally in the last season they come, and it's pretty cool to watch it. That being said, I'm just like, well, what's all this going to lead to in the first one? Is this new one, and now I got to get new characters, and I just haven't been able to. I'm like, I don't want to, because you kind of got to pay attention in those shows because there's usually a lot they're thrown at you.
100%. And I don't mind a show where you got to pay attention. Like I love Better Call Saul.
I don't
love
either,
Breaking
but
Bad.
I got to be a certain mood. Generally speaking, I like to sit and talk and watch casually while I do other things.
Mm-hmm.
In a show like that, I really can't.
Right.
So
yeah, you got to really sit down and pay attention.
I think I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, I might go ahead and check it out. The other one that I think I might go, there you go. I can't say any of that. But it described it in another sentence, and I can't say any of it. But the other one, I think I'm going to, I guess apparently on Disney Plus, the She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
The final episode's either out or about to be out.
Right.
And
so now it's safe.
So now I'm like, all right, I'll go see if that's any good or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess at some point I need to check out this Star Wars joint that's out, the new one.
That's supposed to be really good. I've only seen like one episode or the end of the first episode. And from what I've seen, it was really good.
I heard it's very slow.
I got to find out when they're putting out the next season of Better Call Saul.
Oh, on
the final season on Netflix. Because
it just aired about a month
so
ago.
So it's probably going to be within like by the end of the year to the beginning of next year, but I still need to know a date because I have yet to finish that. You're still like 2 seasons back, right?
Yeah, I'm way 2 seasons.
I was going to say, yeah, you're still a ways.
I
back.
got the entire final season sitting on a DVR in my house.
So what are you whining about House of the Dragon? You got a full season of Saul that's just waiting to
be
consume.
honest, I'm so far out. I'm almost contemplating starting over. Like it's been so
It's
while
not a bad idea.
since I've seen it. I'm like, do I remember half of what's going on in that show? I don't even remember.
What I would recommend, and this is just kind of something I do when I'm jumping back into something, is what to know. Go to YouTube and just type in what to know going into season 4 of Better Call Saul.
Right, to get as a refresher course.
And it'll give you like a 3-minute. Here's the TLDR about everything you need to know headed into season 4 of Better Call Saul.
Okay. You know what? That might be a good idea. I might go ahead and do that. So, for the sake of my, because part of me wants to go back, but I know once I go back, I'm like, I don't want to see. I already know. I remember now. I don't want to see this again. You know what I mean? Breaking Bad and Saul kind of have some of those moments in it.
They
where
do.
Like,
They
I
really
do not
do.
need to see this scene again.
Yeah, they really do. Which I don't know if you do this. I did this the other day. I was watching a video where there was a rattlesnake behind a dog dish, and somebody had to like come in and like with a long stick and get it. I was literally like watching it on my phone at like arm's length, like
he's gonna jump out.
Yeah, like nothing's gonna happen. But I was like, the same thing. There's a movie that just came out. I think it's called Fall.
Okay,
I think, or like it's basically these two people go up on this gigantic radio tower. And they're like climbing enthusiasts.
I kind of think I've seen a trailer for that.
The trailer, I can't even make it through the trailer.
Yeah.
It gives me such vertigo and anxiety. Basically, they make it all the way to the top of this tower. They climb this ladder up, and the ladder like falls off. Like it rusts and falls off.
Oof.
Or it was like while they're climbing it, so they almost didn't make it. And then they have to figure out how to get down from this tower with no internet signal, and it gave me such anxiety just watching the trailer.
But they put themselves in this situation,
oh, right. It's you did this because you wanted the thrill. Well, thrill achieved.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you were after.
Did you ever watch that movie where about the guy that walked across the tightrope with the World Trade Center one?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually loved that movie. That was great. Yeah.
I think I couldn't finish it. I was like,
and again, that was one of those it gives me serious anxiety.
Yeah.
But that's what it's supposed to do.
I know, but part of it, I'm like, I just watched a 2-hour movie about some idiot that walked across the rope and we're supposed to like he's our hero. He's an idiot. This man's a moron. Why would you do this?
I'm doing myself no favors because I was out on like a 1-story overhang the other day just to kind of check out the parade. And as I'm standing there, I'm like, I need to go inside. For some reason in my head, I was going to topple over backwards and just fall the 10 feet down to the ground. I get such weird vertigo at heights. But that's one I just cannot do. I'm sorry. I was like, you want to go to the Strat? I'm like, you want to shut up?
Let's go home and watch Cliffhanger. It is 8:15. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to By the way, Stallone's got a new TV series coming out where he's like a mafia dude in like I think it's Paramount Plus it's coming out on, and I think it comes out here in November maybe.
Does he play any other parts? Is it just the same?
I don't think he's played a mob boss before. This is new.
He just plays like the same type of character in like every.
Well, he's a tough guy. I mean, but I don't
just
think
want someone to see him as like a divorced father or something.
Well, see, he's too old to play Rambo anymore. So now he plays like the boss from a gangster, the guy that's now in a person of older fare that's tough as nails. But it looks good, and I'm going to watch it because I like Sly Stallone. Superintendent Brian Luck, he's been patiently waiting for us to get through these stupid stories, so he can join us and tell you what happened at the last school board meeting. So Brian Luck will join us here in just a bit, but before we do any of that, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Temperatures will stay pretty comfortable over the next couple of days with a fair weather pattern in place. High pressure is off to our west, and that'll be covering our area with sunshine today. Our afternoon high should be in the low 80s, down to 50 and clear for the overnight hours. Lots of sun coming up on Thursday. Looks like we'll stay in the upper 70s and then back up to about 80 with plenty of sunshine Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 54%. Winds at the moment out of the north, 10 miles per hour. Sunny today. Highs near 80 expected with northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 51 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 79 for a high tomorrow. I love these temperatures. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies with an overnight low of 52. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Friday, beautiful day for some football. Beautiful night for some football as well, too. But sunny, highs near 80. Northwest winds 5 to 10. And then Friday night, partly cloudy. Overnight low of 54. So you might even want a long sleeve sweatshirt or something when you go to the games on Friday here. And then looking at the weekend, rain chances back in the forecast at 20% for Saturday afternoon, otherwise mostly sunny and 84. Our chance of rain bumps up to 60% Saturday night. Sunday, we're looking at a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy and 65. 70% chance for Sunday night as well. And then Monday, when you head back to work and school, you're looking at a 70% chance of rain. We might get to 60 on Monday. They're saying 59 for a high. So fall is creeping in ever so slowly. And rain, which I will never complain. We need all the rain. It is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take about a 3.5-minute break, and then we'll have our ISD Superintendent Brian Luck join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
This is Mikey, General Manager at Roswell Nissan. Are you haunted? By high payments or afraid you'll be stuck in your old car forever? This is your chance to escape. It's Halloween madness at Roswell Nissan. No tricks, just a lot of treats. Like rates as low as 2.25% for 36 months or 3.99 for 75 months. No payments for 90 days on approved credit. And if you do have creepy credit, Roswell Nissan has credit specialists on hand to help you get your deal done. Halloween madness all October long at Roswell Nissan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
I'm Mitch Kurkowskis, Vice President of Strata Production Company, a local oil and gas business in Roswell. We must have representatives like Greg Nybert who know the economic drivers of this community and New Mexico. Greg has pushed back on efforts by liberal Democrats who are against oil and gas. With over 39 years' experience, Greg Nybert knows the jobs local oil and gas companies create, the opportunities we provide, and the prosperity we bring to our communities. Oil and gas accounts for over 40% of the state budget and has allowed our state to provide raises to educators and state police, and the rebate checks you received. Please vote for Greg Nybert for State Representative, District 59, to keep a strong conservative voice in our legislature.
I'm Greg Nybert, and I ask you to please vote for me for House District 59. Voting begins on October 11th, and Election Day is November 8th.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Representative. Richard Taylor, Treasurer.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you.
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion, unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Brian Luck, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing good. How's life in the district this morning?
Life in the fast lane right now.
Keeping busy.
You bet. We're up and running. Lots going on. Got 9 weeks out of the way. Got a big 40-day count today. So looking forward to seeing what our numbers look like. And we've got lots going on. Multiple activities, multiple events. Just finished up the fair.
Yeah.
Transitioning from late summer, early fall activities right on into your holidays. So we got lots going on.
Sports starting to get a little heavy in the fall sports here with not just football, but the soccer and all the fall sports are starting to get into district play and playoff start talking here. So it's a busy time for students, and then of course, with the holidays, their midterms, all that kind of stuff. They're it's a busy study time too.
It is.
For them.
So. It is. Oh, that
other part of school, learning things and stuff. But
yes, sir.
But yeah, what it sounds like, what I feel like, and we're finally back to a place where and I don't mean to jinx everything, but the word COVID is not really in every conversation anymore. It's more about school stuff, normal, X's and O's of education, not how do we do this in a COVID world. It's just how do we do it now?
Well, you've moved to a point where you can stop saying COVID, or you have to say, well, because of this or because of that. It's just, this is where we're at, and it's time to start going. And I don't know that we've ever really stopped going as much as it was you had to always have that in the back of your head.
Sure. But there's a lot less limitations now.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
I hope we've turned that corner. I really do. I think for our town, as that goes with it. I mean, I really hope that we can put at least some of it, put it in the past.
Sure.
Learn from what happened, but let's put that in the past.
And this is something. And again, I'm going to say this: if I'm out of place, please inject that. But we are now in a place as a community where we've got to play catch up and recovery, because now that we're at a point where we don't have to focus as much on, we got to separate everybody and everything's remote or whatever. But there was a lot of things that did not get done in the last 3 years. And this gap of kids that served, and especially and it's true at every grade level, but especially at those early developmental grades, your pre-K, K, first, second, third grade, those ones where they're really getting that routine and that establishment of life as a student and what their job as a student is. We as a community need to come together and rally to make that happen, which in my opinion means parents need to step up and be more active and role in the raising and educating and making sure where if they're having issues in school, that you are a partner with your teachers and with the staff to try to, instead of being adversarial and trying to say, well, why didn't this happen? Sitting there and say, all right, this is what's wrong. How do the people in this room fix it? And we've got to get into that mindset, because if we don't, we're going to be doing more disservice to these children.
When you look at what happened, and again, we were talking just off mic a second ago that, a 3-year process for this thing to start and to get us to where we are right now. Now, you give or take year 4, something like that.
Yeah.
If you think of your schooling, there's not a 3-year block that you don't have some type of a major maturation process.
Sure.
Whether that be physically or mentally or anything like that.
All years of your schooling are monumental or benchmark years for these kids.
Well, and like our seniors this year, when we take a look at them, they were freshmen when this thing ended. Our third graders this year were kindergartners. The one that got me was our bring it on back. Our first graders were like, in the 3Y program, if they were even in anything at all like that. And if you think about, even just as an adult, how different your life has been over the past 3 years, we'll take that to like your schooling.
Sure.
And if we had dropped a 3-year block like that anywhere in there. So, absolutely, it is one of those deals, and it's something that each individual family will have to deal with when it comes to their kiddos. You know your kids. You have a decent idea if they are on track or off track. And no, as always, it's usually best to support first.
Sure.
And then, down the road, if things persist and there might be something to whatever it is that you're thinking of me, but I'm going to always advocate that we try to support it
Absolutely.
first. And for the most part, I would say probably 80% of what we deal with is that. The majority of our families have really dug in. A lot of them got to participate in the education process.
Sure.
And we've had several parents come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I know what you go through now, and I can't imagine 25
they were
of
able
this."
To wear their shoes for a little bit. Yeah,
I had 2 of them at my kitchen table, and they were mine, and I can't imagine this. So, and again, it's
well, and it's
moving
because we all, and that's the thing. Like we all must remember, and I think this sometimes we forget that. We're all on the same side. We're all wanting to make sure that every single child that goes through the doors of a school in the Roswell Independent School District comes out with a great education and a great opportunity to take whatever they've learned and go wherever they want to go with it and succeed. That's what we all want for these folks. And the people that you're working with, the people that are teaching your kids, the teachers that spend as much, if not more time with their kids as you do. they need our help just as much, and we all need to be in concert, working together. Those teachers bust their hump wanting to, and I'm being a little defensive because my wife's a teacher, and I see what she does every day. And so I do come from that place. I'm well aware of that. I've got a little bias, but if we all have to be on that page of how do we do it together, and I guarantee if you come there trying to work it out as opposed to let's make heads roll, you might find out that you're going to get a lot more done and see a lot more rather than you coming in ready to why is this not happening? Why is this like, all right, first off, what your perspective and what the perspective aren't always the same. And we need to, and that's the stuff I know I'm getting in the weeds here, but my point is work together. The people in the classrooms, the people in the schools want the best for your kids. Work with them to help and talk to them and have good discussions. I understand we get in a world sometimes where everyone wants to blame someone for this or why didn't this happen, and we ain't got time for that. Yeah. What do we got? This is what we've got to deal with. We've got kids that need our attention, that need our help, and while you're bickering on who does what and where, that kid's losing more time. So let's get in there and let's fix what we need to do to make sure these kids are back on track.
Well, and that's the educational gap that we're looking at.
Yeah.
We were pretty fortunate, and depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think we were fortunate that we did go ahead and still use some of our assessments to make sure where we were, and because of that, we've got real-time data.
Yeah.
A lot of the districts around the state are waiting until this year to really try to put forth something, and that's fine. But we know where we're at.
Sure.
And I don't know that makes me feel better. I don't know that makes me feel worse. I don't think it was a huge shock whenever we got our numbers, and
sure.
And so moving forward with that, now we actually can take back to our teachers. Okay, this is where they are. This is where they were. This is the material. This is the curriculum that you have. These are the supports that are available by the district. These are from professional development to side-by-side coaching to multiple levels of support for the teachers and for the kids. If you're having some behavioral issues, there's probably a root cause to that. I don't think they just walked in the door and said, today I think I'm going to act like this.
Sure.
So we're really starting to try to ramp up our emotional, support, our behavioral support for not just for the in-class situations, but we have some classes that we've started offering with some of our parents that, hey, if you would like some parenting help, and not, hey, we're going to tell you how to do things.
Yeah.
But it is just it's just some good theories, some good practices. So it's opened our doors a lot more to trying to be a better resource for everybody.
I can almost guarantee that every parent on the planet, when they first became a parent, probably like, what am I getting into? I have no idea. And then, you get overwhelmed. At some point, every parent gets overwhelmed or like this thing didn't come with an owner's manual. I don't know what I'm doing here. And so, yes, seek help. This is obviously, when you talk about the school district, who's better at working and dealing with kids every day than people in the school district? So if you're like, hey, how do they get my kid to do the stuff I want him to do in the classroom, I can't get him to do it at home.
Right.
Well, talk to them. Let's see if we can work on that. So there's consistent message at home and at school. You know what I mean? And that's probably part of the problem with some of this is if the kids get conflicting messages in different places, they don't know what's the right way to do. And so maybe some of that is being in concert with what's going on in school and saying, all right, let's take what we're doing here and apply that at home. And when you find that out, you start seeing the routines, patterns, and things start clicking, and maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But that's where these sources can help figure that out,
Yeah.
So take advantage of that.
Well, and I mean, I've spent my entire career from the age of 14 to 19 and, give or take 25 years of being in that environment. And now I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, and there's days that I'm just like, holy cow, wait a minute, this isn't supposed to happen like this. So,
right.
I mean, it again, there's not any type of a stigma to it, but it is an option. It is some support that we're opening up for the parents. And again, we're trying to pour as much resources into the schools for that. Cause I think if we had a thing right now that we're really trying to focus on, that would be it, because We've got them in the rooms. We've got everybody back.
Yeah.
We feel like we've got what we need to do in place. We know the timelines for it. We know how it needs to be done. And then you run into issues inside the classrooms, and that's what we're trying to clean up now.
Yeah.
So,
but I can tell you this: we've got a bunch of people busting their tails, doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Support them, help them. They need your help. They need this is. I know we joke that takes a village, all that, but when it comes to these kids and getting, especially now more than ever, as we're post-COVID world here, we all need to work together to help make sure we can provide the best opportunities for kids, because you're fighting, you're bickering, you're when you get into these adversarial scenarios, at the end of the day, the only person that's going to get hurt are the kids in that classroom. Yeah. So let's avoid that altogether, and let's do everything in our power to work in concert. And obviously, if you see things that are not right, don't stand up and ignore that kind of stuff. Right. But at the same time,
there's a process.
You may not see the whole thing from all angles. Therefore, from what you're saying makes sense from your perspective. But when you see all perspectives, you're like, okay, where I'm coming from does not make sense. But you got to understand that, and let that's all I'm saying is let people and don't get me wrong, they want to hear these concerns and things. Sure. But when they say, well, it's not because of this, and this, understand they're not blowing smoke. This is there's other concerns we got to for the good of everybody.
Right.
So, and that's where we have to kind of work together on. So. That being said, after kind of getting down tangents and rabbit holes and what have you, the school board did meet last night.
We did meet last night. Yeah.
As far as meeting goes, pretty busy one, pretty light, somewhere in the middle, or
I'm gonna say somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
We give or take about a 2.5 hour meeting, almost pushing 3 hours, but not quite. There's lots of business stuff. We had some policies that came up that we needed to talk about. An admin salary scale that we needed to kind of put the finishing touches on and clean it up after we did our teacher raises. So, just rolling through what we did last night. We partner, I don't want to say partner, but we support the board certified teachers. So that's something that if you're board certified, that takes you anywhere you want to go in the country, and that's
like an official seal of approval.
It's not just an official seal. It is a really high honor if you make it through that.
Is it like an equivalent of like the Dental Association? A dentist is accredited by the dent, something in that nature.
It's something along that lines.
Okay.
It's
big deal.
Yes, and the teachers that do that, it's more than a dossier. It's more than. Like to me, it's more than the equivalence of a master's. It's a really big deal, and that's not everybody does it. But
okay, for us sports idiots, is it kind of like in the NFL? You have Pro Bowlers, but then there's guys that are all pro.
There you go.
These are the all pros of the teaching world.
I think this group right here has taken it upon themselves to go above and beyond to ensure that they have got what they need to be as successful in the classroom as possible. They're
the best in the business. That's what it means.
Big deal. So we had a quick presentation by them. They honored some of our teachers that are walking through that process. Had a safety update with our safety liaison, LJ Harrell. LJ does a great job. He went over some of the things that we're doing. Some of the stuff that we can talk about is we've installed safety. It's a safety film on our glass. So like at the doors next to the classroom doors that have glass in them, or glass that is next to a classroom door to try to prevent somebody from being able to gain easy access to the classrooms or the vestibules as they're coming into the building. We've got a company here and there working feverishly to get that done. I mean, we're talking 13, 14-hour days, doing a phenomenal job with that. We have 11 of our doorbell cameras that J&G Electric is feverishly trying to get put in as well. We've been waiting on that product for quite a while. So at every school, when you walk up, you'll have a door that'll be locked, but you'll have a button and there'll be a camera there. So whoever it is that's answering that inside, whether that be the receptionist or the principal, when you get ready to buzz yourself in, you'll get your name and they have an opportunity to see your face. Perhaps maybe even show a driver's license. We haven't really talked about a standard policy with that. We're just super excited that we have the ability now not to have somebody have to bang on the door.
Sure.
And some of our schools, we've got a couple of them. It's a blind turn. So you would come out of your receptionist's office or your principal's office and have to walk around a corner And it can be kind of scary sometimes. I mean, you never really know what's coming around that corner.
Absolutely. Well, this is the world.
It's where we're in.
It is. And let's face it. A lot of these buildings that are schools in our district weren't built with the design of let's make it as secure as possible. That this is a place of learning. How do we make it? And so now they're like, oh, by the way, now that the world we live in, we have to make these. So you're basically seeing every security weakness because these buildings weren't meant to be. They're schools. They're not prisons. And so now you're looking and saying, all right, there's a lot of vulnerabilities. What do we got to do to do? And this is where technologies come in and say, okay, we've got to make these secure because this world we live in now, and so it's great to see that even though it's sad we have to do this, and it's sad that we've got to turn our schools into these security meccas, but that's the world we live in now, and it's great to see that. And I will say this, just because again I see my wife, and she's a school. This district's always done a good job, as long as I've seen it. When they do security and things, they work in concert with our law enforcement, the sheriffs, the RPD. Depending on obviously where the school is located in the district here, but all of that is done in concert, working together, and and it's sad to see the things we see across the country here. Obviously, the one in Texas, more recently, is hit home a lot harder than others here. I like to say, this district, sure, is there breaches or things? There's always going to be things that when there's this many moving parts, there's always going to be a weak link somewhere. But they do an amazing job of trying to stay ahead of that and doing that kind of now that this world we live in, doing the best we can with what we got, and that's just it. In a perfect world, $1 billion shows up and we can make every school Fort Knox in a week, but that's fantasy talk. We can't do that. So
and there would probably still be a way.
Yeah.
Even with that, one of the things that Mr. Harrell does when we do our trainings is we remind teachers, administrators, support staff, anybody that's in a building anywhere. We do our training even at our central office as well. A locked, shut door before something happens is one of the biggest deterrents to things happening inside a classroom, a hallway, a building. And again, it's so easy to point a finger or to say, see, look at this or look at that. You're still dealing with a human element. And again, you don't want, I would like for a school to be as warm and as welcoming as possible. And that's tough whenever you walk down a hall and every door is shut.
Sure.
And the first thing that happens when you get to a building is you're pointed into a particular direction and you're asked who you are and what your business is there.
Yeah.
It is a pretty heavy lift to ask of our parents. I will do that gladly every day, with knowing that why we're doing that is to try to keep the kids and the staff inside safe.
Well, and this is because I've, some parents have ran into things like I'm trying to get my kid and it got a little tricky.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I understand you're upset because you just want to get your kid, but guess what? The priority right now isn't you. The priority is your kid. And they're prioritizing your child over you for the safety of your kid. So I can understand you're frustrated, but it's coming from a place of safety and love. And if you're truly the parent, we'll figure it out. Yeah. But if you do have a little bit of a gauntlet to go through to get through there, it's because your kid is worth the protection. And if you think of it that way, it's like, well, glad would you rather just roll in and grab your kid than later think, well, crap, anybody could have walked in and grabbed my kid and left, now that I think about it, and that didn't happen, did it? And that's it. So I get it. You get a little frustrated, but when you look at what we're trying to do here, you should be thankful, not upset.
Well, and
the way I see it.
We've talked with our principals and our secretaries at the trainings, and we said, okay, look, this will happen. You will have a parent that will have made a doctor's appointment and or they have made it for a long time. They just got it, whatever the case may be. The anxiety is pretty high because of whatever. They get off work late because the boss said this, or this. They're going to run up to the building. They're going to be, at a maximum amount of just give me my kid.
Sure.
Just try.
They're flustered.
Try to work with them. And again, that's going to happen. We know that's going to happen because that's that's just the way things work.
We're always going to err on the side of caution in something like that.
Absolutely.
I understand it might be inconvenient, but if we don't, then we can guarantee you live to talk about it another day. If we don't treat it anything differently, we can't make that guarantee.
Well, the hope is that if that does, if you run into an incident where it takes you forever, you and your kiddo can be mad at us for like the next 80 years, and that's fine with me.
Sure.
Because that means that everything's okay.
You're still around to be mad.
You're here to be mad at that.
Absolutely, and we'll live with that one.
You bet. Walk through some a 90-day presentation by Mesa Middle School, going over their data, kind of what they're doing. Had some presentations on some of our assessment from last year, our middle school and our K-5 from Mr. Bewley. Again, nothing that we didn't already anticipate, but just needed to share that with the board in a public forum. Went through some regular stuff, I would say, some bills and stuff, and then ran over some policies. And they were first readings, and so we did have a little bit of conversation about it, and that was a little later on in the meeting. So we have not had in board policy any kind of a medical cannabis policy as far as the how-to. So
as far as what staff and things go?
Well, it would be more the kids. So like if you had a student that was prescribed cannabis by a physician, what would be the process for which any kind of medication would be given at school should that have to happen?
Gotcha.
Because when
I would imagine if it's held by, say, the school nurse or something, that maybe that's I don't know.
But we didn't have anything set.
Okay.
So what's been
the protocol there?
What's the protocol for that? And so our nursing supervisor Katie McLean did a phenomenal job and came up with a policy, a checklist, and a treatment plan.
Gotcha.
And came up with some actual documents that we're going to run through legal. We'll run it back through the board services that we use.
Well, it's considered anything with cannabis in it's considered a controlled substance like anything else, right?
Yes, sir. But what was happening, especially at the secondary levels, like your high school and your mid school, is you'd have a student that would come in and say, "Hey, I have this card, therefore I can have it in my pocket."
Sure.
And
no, it's still a drug-free zone.
We would run into issues with that with the parents, and it's like, okay, that's not the way that works. And they'd say, well, show me where that's written. Well, we don't have it written anywhere. Well, now we're working through the process, and what we tried to do is just like what you said a second ago, almost more like a nameless faceless. It fits the same criteria as every other thing that we would give from the school nurse. It can't be something that's smoked. It can't be something that's edible. It can't be a gummy or something like that. It has to be a particular type of medication.
Okay, in a pill form.
In a pill form.
Or like a NyQuil or whatever. I don't know. Whatever,
I don't even
whatever they consider medicines.
Well, and again, it's very specific. It spells it out.
Okay.
So that
injectable maybe. I don't even know. Is that a thing? I have no idea.
So the deal with that is that this way you can also take this to a local medical provider and say, okay, if you really feel like this is what this student needs, you're the doctor. Literally, you are the doctor.
Sure.
But for them to be able to have it, if it should have to be administered at school, this is the format that it has to be.
Sure. Because any other medicine like that,
that's correct.
Would be in the possession of the nurse,
right.
And then the student would, in theory, when it's time to take their meds, would go see the nurse. The nurse would distribute it, and that way the kid can't pop pills out of sequence, or in essence give it to their friends or do anything nefarious.
Absolutely.
With it, so.
Well, and there's a process for how you get it to the nurse, and what happens at Christmas, and what happens at the end of the year, and what happens if you don't pick it up, just like there is with everything else. So we wanted to put together a clean policy when it came to that. So that one took a little bit of time, just some good question and answer session with the board.
To me, in my head, and then again, I'm not the most qualified to answer this, but in my head, it's like whatever you do for like pain meds and when they're prescribed those types of things, policy shouldn't really be much different than it is for the cannabis, in my opinion. But
and that's pretty much the way it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Without getting into the nuances of the policy, and that is the way it's going to work.
Gotcha.
So it was interesting. I got a call from a local TV station, and they wanted to know about that, and I was just like, wow, that made news. I was like, it's kind of a no story here, guys. I mean, we're
fishing to try to make to stir a pot.
Well, we're just trying to put together something.
Marijuana in schools in the same sentence is going to stir a pot.
Oh,
every
absolutely.
time.
but again, our goal is not. Our goal is, even really, to be honest, it's not even so much of a preventative thing or anything like that, or a judgmental thing. It's as much as it is You know what? Let's go for uniformity and consistency across the board, and that's what we need to do is to make sure that we're supporting our nurses, supporting our administrators.
And I have a wife that's a teacher, but I have no idea, and I'm just generally curious. For staff and administration, do they have the same style rules on that, or are they allowed to be more? Because obviously, if a teacher's been prescribed a pain med, do they have to go check in with a nurse, or do they just take it as needed, like they would in any? I mean, is there policy for that? I'm just curious. I have no idea.
Well, I'll take that back to your original question of okay, what would the policy be for them taking any type of other prescription medication?
Gotcha.
There's not one. So,
okay.
So when we would obviously work with our staff when it comes to something like that.
Gotcha. I was just curious because I was thinking, because at the end of the day, these are adults. They're responsible people. They can manage their own times to take their meds and things. But if it gets to controlled substances, like something with codeine or something like that's considered a narcotic, does that change the rules on that in a school? Because technically, it's a drug-free zone, and if you're caught with drugs in a drug-free zone, fines and sentencing gets a lot harsher. And I was just curious about that.
Some of the new legislation that has come out in the last 4 or 5 years has not done schools any favor. I'll just kind of leave that one at that.
So
when it comes
there's
to
work to be done in this.
A little bit of work to be done, but at the same time, I mean,
just curious.
A lot of it you might not know that you don't know it until you don't know it. Until something comes up that says, "Oh my gosh,"
and that's the problem. Nothing will happen until someone abuses the policy and exposes that there's a problem there.
Well, and again, trying to be a little proactive with that. And then the last one that we ran through, which is some policy reading, was on Narcan, and officially having Narcan at our schools. Should we run into some type of an opioid overdose?
Sure.
We had an incident last year where we thought we had an exposure, and we didn't. We start communicating with law enforcement, and one of their comments was, "Well, do you have this on site?" And we did not. So started looking around, trying to find, as far as statewide, does anybody have something like that? Well, we now actually have it at every building. It is housed with the nurse. So, I mean, should we run into something like that?
God forbid, you hope you never need it.
I mean, it could be something even as simple as an elementary school student that picks something up that's got it, that it's laced in it.
That's true.
Or that the incident last year, we thought maybe perhaps one of our security guards in doing a search had come in contact with that. And so that was pretty scary. But again, our nurse has done a phenomenal job with, okay, this is how we're going to train. And ironically, with that one was in my head, if I just substituted epinephrine pin, an EpiPen with this, everything did fit just like clockwork.
Right.
So that goes back to your way of thinking. And it's something that we just wanted to bring to the board.
Sure.
It was a first reading. So we'll go clean them up, get them through legal, and get a little bit of feedback from our powers that be.
Good deal.
And that way we can have that in place. And again, hopefully that's something that we're never going to need.
Sure.
But you never know.
But obviously, for you folks listening here, if you've got concerns one way or another, please shoot an email to your representative on the school board.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the RSD website if you're not sure which one's yours, or any of them. Shoot one to any of them. And share your thoughts, opinions, and they'll be happy to kind of educate you or give you information on what they're leaning towards and getting you. But yeah, if you've got suggestions, ideas, or things or concerns, please reach out to your school board members and talk with them about it. So when it's time for them to make these decisions, they can take that into account. So think about it. There's that's how the process works.
Well, and last year when we ran through that, I mean, in discussing with local law enforcement, I mean, one of their comments was, well, why didn't you just do this? Why didn't you just use the Narcan? And we're like, well, we didn't have it. And they're like, we have. How many do you need?
Yeah, we can leave you some.
Because I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to it, to be honest with you, and then started doing a little bit of research on it and the availability and what it does and what it can't do.
It saves lives.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and
we can get into ethics later, but now the person's alive to talk about that.
I can tell you from personal experiences, when you're in a building and you feel like you've got a serious medical crisis that's going on, it feels like time stands still.
Yep.
It does not matter where you're at or how far away I've been. Right around the corner from the ambulance station or 4.5 miles from the ambulance station. It literally feels like time stands still. So we just want to make sure that we've equipped everybody with the tools that they need.
Yeah. So it's good to hear that. So we're almost out of time. Is there any other highlights we definitely want to make sure that we put on people's radar or talk about?
I tell you what, we've got a fair, a kind of a quasi job fair coming up on the 21st.
Oh, good.
We have that's the other part. Staff training. We're trying something different with our professional development this year. So,
okay.
So October 21st, which I believe would be next Friday.
Okay.
We are going to release all students in the district at 12 o'clock. So they're going to do a half day.
Okay.
We'll still feed them everything. There's no change in that. No break and serve.
Meal schedule.
Normal meal schedule. All of that.
The buses will run a little different.
Buses are going to run earlier, but from 12 to give or take 1:30 will be time for the teachers to help process the kids out of the building, get the buses taken care of, get them something to eat, and get to training sites. On that day, we also have a job fair, and I'll get you the flyer. I thought I had it here with my stuff for anybody that would like to maybe pursue a degree in teaching, that maybe some of our subs, for instance.
There's some great programs that the district's offering right now. Yeah.
And the college has been phenomenal. We're going to have representatives from the college that could take a look at their transcripts. This is going to be a one-stop deal for them, so they wouldn't have to run around town. They don't have to take a day off work. And like I said, I'll get you that flyer.
Okay, yeah,
I shared that with the board last night, and I didn't get it back.
Good deal.
But that's a big deal for us.
Stole your paper, huh? Jeez. Savages.
I guess I'll let them take it.
We'll make copies. $5. No, I was kidding. But that sounds great. And I imagine, too, if you're also looking for careers in all the other parts of the district, too.
Absolutely.
Food service or custodial or admin
maintenance,
many other thousands of moving parts that is part of the RASD. You can apply at that job fair as well, too. But if you are, like you said, saying, I want to, pursue my teaching degree to get that, and this program is really, if you have degrees and other things that kind of, they use this to help kind of transfer that over, or while you're pursuing that degree and you're getting close to the finish line, need a little more help, talk to the district. They've got a lot of opportunities for that kind of stuff.
There has been so many things coming out from the state right now. If you, I joked the other day, I said, if you can make it through your first year of college,
yeah,
and that should be paid for too with some of the scholarships and things that the state has to offer. If I can get you into to even year 3, we ought to be able to pick you up into something and take you forward. So,
and that's the thing too, is once you're in and you've got your bachelor's and things, take advantage of those things to pursue the master's, and so towards the dossier, so you can rise higher in levels and things throughout that's, my wife, she's at that point now where, obviously 25 years, but she went and got her master's or got help through special programs.
Sure.
So we got grants. And so basically she paid half price for her master's degree through various programs and things. And there's all kinds of stuff that available now. She's at the highest levels that she can possibly be because of her training and things that she took advantage of over the years. So
our salaries are extremely competitive. In fact, they're not just extremely. I think they're some of the highest.
Teachers are getting good pay now here in New Mexico. Say what I know. A lot of people have issues and things about a lot of things in our state, but they did a good thing by actually paying our teachers now, and they're now competitive wages. They're actually wages that are commensurate with the education. And I mean, sure, there's more things that could be done. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a step in the direction of, hey, these are professionals. We need to treat them and pay them as such.
Absolutely.
Because quite frankly, we're going to lose all of them if we don't. Because smart people that know that they can do more and better, if people they're going to eventually say, I'm done with this and I'm going to go do something else.
So I saw a news story last night with a really good looking guy that made a comment that we did have people not retire because they knew these salary schedules were coming and they thought they could take advantage for maybe a year or two. So
I might know someone like that.
Yeah.
Pretty close with her.
No comment.
Well, thank you, Brian, as always. Appreciate it. And anything we could do, let us know. And we'll see you next time. All right?
You bet.
All right. 8:58, quick break before news. Don't go away.
There's at least one thing most New Mexicans agree on. Our schools have a long way to go. That's why Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is breathing new life into public education with initiatives that support our children from their first baby steps to promising career paths. like expanding in-home family services, early childhood and pre-K, so thousands more kids will go off to school healthy and ready to learn, and attracting new teachers by raising salaries to the highest in the Southwest. It's already paying off by recruiting hundreds of new teachers to our classrooms this year. And she is cutting teacher paperwork and administrative burdens by 41%, so they have more time to teach our children. Thanks to the governor's new Opportunity Scholarships, any New Mexican can now attend a state college for free to earn a certificate or degree in a wide range of high-demand fields. After 2 tough years, we're finally making progress in education. We can't afford to go back to the failed policies of the past.
Paid for by New Mexicans for Michelle.
Approved by Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Site power is a deeply worrying development. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
President Biden vowing consequences to the Saudis after they backed OPEC's decision to cut oil output. The White House accusing Saudi Arabia of siding with Russia because the production cut will boost Vladimir Putin's oil income used to pay for the war in Ukraine. President Biden is denouncing Russia's ongoing strikes on civilian targets in Ukraine.
It's brutal. It's beyond the pale.
Which is what some Americans might say about inflation. The government's Producer Price Index, released this morning, shows a 0.4% increase from August to September. Year over year, wholesale inflation rose 8.5% in September. Some members of Congress who want to kill the COVID vaccine mandate for members of the military think they may have found a way to do it.
Members of the conservative House Freedom Caucus are calling on Republican leaders to delay passage of the annual defense authorization bill until after the new year if its demands, like repealing the military's COVID-19 vaccine mandate, are not met. The group says in January, a new Congress may include GOP majorities in either the House or Senate that can rework the legislation.
And that's correspondent Bernie Bennett. Watching Wall Street, stocks mixed. Right now, the Dow trading 122 points higher, while the NASDAQ is flat, and the S&P up 3 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
A strike by oil workers in France resulting in shortages at gas stations around the country. The BBC's Hugh Schofield in Paris.
Long queues of cars, now a regular sight at the pumps. It's become a matter of urgency for the government to get the fuel flowing again. Its latest move is to requisition key staff at a refinery in Normandy, threatening prosecution unless they allow some lorry tankers to load up. But the hardline unions behind the stoppages see this as a threat to their right to strike, and they've toughened their position. They want pay rises to take account of the huge profits being made at the moment by the oil companies.
A new liquefied natural gas project off Africa's west coast may be only 80% complete, And already the prospects of a new energy supplier drawing visits from the leaders of Poland and Germany. The production field may hold 5 times more gas than what Germany used in all of 2019. News and analysis at townhall.com. The U.S. is reportedly considering a Ukrainian-style parole for Venezuelan migrants.
U.S. officials say the Biden administration is developing plans for Venezuelans with sponsors to be granted parole to enter the United States, similar to how Ukrainians have been admitted after Russia's invasion. Venezuelans have suddenly become the second largest nationality at the U.S. border. 3 officials described the outlines of the plan to the Associated Press, emphasizing that talks were fluid and subject to change. 2 of the officials say that Venezuelans who qualify for parole would enter the U.S. at airports, mirroring a program introduced in April that allows Ukrainians with financial sponsors to stay for up to 2 years. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The International Monetary Fund is downgrading its outlook for the world economy for 2023. The IMF predicts the global economy would eke out growth of just 2.7% next year. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace Invierno.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy. Is that you?
I had to reassure myself that my trill was okay, because I failed on that trill.
It didn't sound like a human noise. It sounded like something broke.
It's my impression of a Vibra slap.
Oh, I thought you were doing your Purple Cobra dance for the Globo Gym Purple Cobras.
What is it? Step, 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 step.
I gotta remember those names better, like the Russian ladies.
I don't remember any of their names, honestly. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I gotta go back and watch it.
I was impressed to remember Globo Gym Purple Cobra. I do love the movie, though.
It's so good.
I say things 1,000 times, but happy hour number 3. Happy Trace Inviernos.
Yes.
Happy Wednesday.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Trace Days, too.
See.
The third hour on the third day.
That's right.
Wait till the third segment.
Third interview.
Things are going to go down.
But, happy hour number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, we got football Friday night.
Yes.
We got a bevy of football.
District action underway.
Dia de los District.
I will hopefully get that 2-minute sponsor spot replaced today. Because I know people are real sick and tired of hearing that same clip.
They're clamoring.
I still, to this day, have no idea what one of the guys is saying. He's like, I love my man. Like, what was that now?
He was speaking in tongues.
Ad touts the broadcast excellence of KSVP, our broadcasters, and I don't think that was English.
Action's so good it makes you speak tongues.
That's right.
That's right. So, but yeah, of course, Friday night, district play, big Friday night, as here at the Wool Bowl.
Yes. It's Rockets versus Trojans.
Yes, the Goddard Rockets will host the Mayfield Trojans. Mayfield is newly this year into the district.
Into our district, yeah.
So they're going to bring the game face.
I'm telling you, though,
Friday night at the Wool Bowl.
They better bring their A game because they're dancing in a pretty powerful district right now.
Yes.
We're at the top of our game.
And then the other big matchup Friday night will be the Roswell Coyotes traveling to the Bulldog Bowl.
Hold on. The world famous
Bulldog Bowl in Artesia. Take on the Artesia Bulldogs.
No wonder Gene's an iPhone user. It's such a pompous. I was just saying, like, because I was talking to Casey a few minutes ago, and he was saying the screws on the iPhone are so small, the smallest screws he's ever seen. I'm like, see, even the screws on the iPhone are pretentious. He insists on calling that place the world famous Bulldog Bowl. It's very pretentious.
There's a reason for that.
Saying, I know there's a reason it's world famous.
Yes, it appeared in a episode or a magazine, a copy of National Geographic, and they described it, and I believe one of the mayors that described it as world famous Bulldog Bowl, and it ended up in National Geographic, and it has been called that ever since. So if you want to know the history, that's what it is behind it. But anyway,
so did some African ladies' boobs.
We'll have the coyote.
We'll
have the coyote perspective from just Bulldog Bowl.
Sorry, I'm a coyote. Okay,
yeah.
I graduated Roswell High.
Saying,
I'm going to smack talk.
I'm just going to call it Bulldog Bowl because
I just felt the need to correct you because of certain people's pretension.
Well. Unlike the KFC bowls,
which those are famous.
To us, it's not world famous, just to Artesia. But anyway,
they still have those. I think I'm going to have one for lunch today. That sounds amazing, actually.
I know they have one where they just fill it with mac and cheese and popcorn chicken.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I'll eat that one.
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah,
you don't like their mashed potatoes. I understand.
Okay. Post update there. 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I had a hankering for some KFC chicken. So I got, I was like, Kim, like, after I didn't feel like playing what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner game? I made a decision one day and said, after work, I said, I'm going to KFC. I'm going to get like a 12-piece bucket meal with the sides and just take it home. And we're not having this debate tonight. So I did that. And I realized they pulled a lot of their sides.
Yeah,
like the green beans and the corn are all gone now, which makes me unhappy inside. All they had was mashed potatoes
and
coleslaw, fries, and mac and cheese, and that's it. I think that was all they had. And so I ended up getting a mashed tater because my wife likes it, and I ended up getting a mac and cheese because I like it, and a coleslaw because my wife likes it.
I love their coleslaw.
I don't like coleslaw.
I know, unless it's not a sandwich.
Yeah. So I said, well, all right, well, I'm going to get a helping of the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Okay.
Still awful. I was like, all right, maybe.
Dude, you had my hopes all set. I had my mouth all set up for you.
I gave it a fair. I was hungry, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'm being harsh. And I ate it, and I was like, no, it's still gross. It tastes like cardboard to me. These mashed potatoes taste like cardboard. I do not like them. They do not taste good.
I'm not saying they're the pinnacle of potatoes.
They're not even potatoes.
I'm just saying I enjoy KFC's mashed potatoes. Mostly because they are a vessel to get gravy into my mouth. I love their gravy.
If you love those potatoes, you're a masochist.
So I guess I'm a masochist.
Their chicken is delightful. Love the chicken. Love the mac and cheese. Love
just
the fries.
idea of a famous bowl really sounds awesome right now. I know it sounds like they're plugging around. Not a sponsor.
Those potatoes are gross. Those mashed potatoes are disgusting.
Fine. Whatever.
Now you throw the mac and cheese in that chicken, and I'll eat that bowl all day long. So that gravy cannot save that. There's no amount of gravy that can save those potatoes. The gravy's fine.
I would agree with you there. They don't give you enough of the gravy. I always have to ask for extra.
Why can't you have that delightful gravy with potato that's worthy of that gravy?
Well, you could, but I'm just a fan of a packet potato.
Take one of the 27 original herbs and recipes and throw a couple in those potatoes.
I was raised on commodities. You think that I have like upscale tastes?
I understand that.
I mean, I grew up on boxed taters, so I got used to it.
They're not even boxed.
You were lucky enough to have an upbringing where your family cared.
No, we had them. This is how I know they're gross. We grew up with them too. I didn't like them then either. I had the real McCoy, and I got spoiled.
You certainly did.
Hey,
I don't know, man. I agree to disagree on this because I have a hankering now. Matter of fact,
you get them, but Those
I'm
things
going
are
to pre-order it on the app right now.
Go for it. By the way, KFC app doesn't work here.
Oh, does it not?
It does not.
Oh,
I found that out 2 weeks ago here when I tried to get a 12-piece chicken and couldn't do it when they said not available here.
Yeah, that's a stinker. There's a lot of KFC.
Because I looked online and they had corn and green beans on the online menu, and I got there and there was no corn or green beans. I'm like, now I got to eat these garbage taters. Ugh.
So what do we even have this app for? I've never actually opened it. I've never used it.
Well, you can try it, but I tried to do it like a week or two ago, and no dice. No dice. All right, it is 9:14. We're going to play our interview we had with the Roswell Communal Theater. They joined us yesterday promoting their latest play, The Unexpected Guest, Agatha Christie, which premieres this Friday night. And then we'll continue Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next weekend as well. So we're going to play that interview here in just a minute. Before we do that, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Temperatures will stay pretty comfortable over the next couple of days with a fair weather pattern in place. High pressure is off to our west, and that'll be covering our area with sunshine today. Our afternoon high should be in the low 80s, down to 50 and clear for the overnight hours. Lots of sun coming up on Thursday. Looks like we'll stay in the upper 70s and then back up to about 80 with plenty of sunshine Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 48%. Winds a little breezy out of the north at 16 miles per hour. Sunny today. Highs near 80 expected with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, except for now where they're 16. For tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 51 with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 79 for a high with southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 52 degrees, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, sunny, highs once again right around 80 with northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 54. And then rain chances back in the forecast. Saturday, just a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Mostly sunny, 84 otherwise. But then Saturday night, and for Sunday and Monday and even into Tuesday, pretty good rain chances. Saturday night, we're looking at a 60% chance of rain, mostly cloudy, 57 for an overnight low. Sunday, a 70% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, 65. 70% Sunday night as well, and a 70% chance of rain. Highs near 59 on Monday. So enjoy your beautiful 80s for the next few days, and then around Saturday evening, the rain chances really start picking up again. All right, at 9:16, we're going to take a 3.5-minute commercial break, and then on the other side, we're going to play our interview with the Roswell Community Little Theater talking about their upcoming play, The Unexpected Guest. Don't go away.
Sometimes when you hit the road hits back. That's why MTA Mechanics and Tire carries major brands like Bridgestone, Cooper, and Michelin. Not only do you get top brand tires, but you also get a nationwide warranty. So wherever you are, MTA Mechanics and Tire has you covered. Stop by or let MTA come to you with their MTA Mobile Tire Shop, covering Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. They can come to your home, office, or even the airport. And alignment is included on all sets of 4 tires. MTA Mechanics and Tires, getting you back on the road.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection saves lives. Take care of yourself by staying up to date on your mammograms at Artesia General Hospital. Their 3D mammography brings you the most accurate technology with your comfort and convenience in mind. Appointments average just 15 minutes. If you're a woman over age 40, you don't need a doctor's referral to schedule a mammogram. Remember, early detection saves lives. Request your appointment today at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Now through October 31st, all new customers who sign up for Plateau True Fiber Internet will receive their first 3 months of internet for free. With Plateau True Fiber, you have no data cap, no hidden fees, and symmetrical upload and download internet speed. And right now, when new customers use offer code RSWTRA and visit in-store or call 877-752-8328, you will get your first 3 3 months of Plateau True Fiber Internet for free. That's up to $240 in savings. Plateau True Fiber. Tried, true, trusted. Offer is redeemable only for new Roswell customers in Plateau Fiber eligible zones. Must sign up for
Prepare for the scare. The city of Roswell presents Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo, with spooktastic fun for the whole family, including carnival games, a bouncing castle, carousel, and of course, trick-or-treating with lots of candy. Wear your Halloween costumes and prepare for the affair of the spooky season. Admission is only $5. Kids 3 and under are free. Get tickets and more info at roswell-connect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 28th and 29th at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. See you there.
Have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company. But come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
Big O Tires proudly sells our own brand of affordable tires. Our Bigfoot AT2 offers improved all-terrain traction. Our Legacy All-Season Plus keeps you on the road in any weather. And each set comes standard with the industry's greatest warranty. Now through October 30th, save $100 instantly on select sets of 4 Big O brand tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for details.
The New Mexico Modern Child Support Family Program. It works to benefit both parents for the purpose of improving children's lives. It provides the basics of child support, but goes further by helping parents step up to find better job opportunities that get them back on track to paying their monthly child support obligation. Find out how the Child Support Step Up program can help your modern family. Contact New Mexico Child Support today at 1-800-283-4465 or visit hsd.state.nm.us. Brought to you by the New Mexico Human Services Department.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
It is 8:33, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Roswell Community Little Theater, Beverly Coots and Guy Malone back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. Well, it looks like you're excited and ready, big smiling faces. So I think all is a go for Curtains Rising Friday night's first performance. Everything all ready to go for that opening curtain and that opening night, or is it like, yeah, we'll be ready.
We'll be ready.
Yeah.
We're
very
ready.
Actually,
no, it's a great cast.
Yeah,
Luis is a fabulous director. So, yeah, I think the audience will have some supreme entertainment, and the mystery is awesome.
Yeah, this is kind of a slight change of pace to some of the more recent plays and things at the Community Little Theater. This time you went with, well, Halloween. It is October. It's the Halloween month. And,
good timing.
Spooky and all that. So we said, let's go a little classic horror and mystery with Agatha Christie. And Agatha Christie's The Unexpected Guest is the next play that, now from what I hear, the director, Luis, this has been like her dream to do Agatha Christie for a long time. So this is like something that's kind of been a long time coming for her. Is that accurate?
Yes, and it shows as we rehearse. She's so happy and so into it, and she really is enjoying. This is one of her, maybe not her first drama, but one of the dramas that she's done in a long time.
Gotcha.
So she usually does comedy. So
well, and I'm kind of curious for you guys as actors and things, is what's harder? Is comedy harder to pull off than drama or the suspense type stuff, or is there no difference? Because I mean, it's people look for different things in those types of plays, and being funny, at least for me, seems easier than being let's face it, a bad guy, and things like that.
There you go. It's a personality type, I bet, as well. Some people might do really well playing comedic. I do okay. I've got facial exaggerations, and the timing. I bet if you're doing comedy, you have to be so intentional in your timing.
That's true too.
It might be said that comedy is probably the hardest or the highest form of
theater
depends
art.
On
the personality. If you kind of tend to be a comedic natured anyway, that's probably easy for you. But if you tend to be, Then there's certain people that just play great villains. You know what I mean? They're nicest people on the planet, but when you put them in character, I mean, there's certain actors in the movie world that you look at them and you're like, oh my goodness, he's not a bad guy in this one. This is weird. You know what I mean? And
well, I got to plug Guy, because he's usually in a comedic role.
Yeah.
But he's very
most of the time we see Guy
sinister and
so you get to play your inner bad guy.
He's doing really well.
Louise and Deanna had to really work to draw it out of me. They're I'd come up for a rehearsal. Meaner. I want that to be meaner. And, they had to draw out my inner bad guy. It is a little different type of a role for me, and once I wrapped my head around the character, it became easier and easier to play. Louise gave us a homework assignment to do your character sketch or analysis, and that has helped a ton, because I would have, the first time we talked about it, I thought the guy was just a little desperate or an opportunist on the first or even second reading, so I'd play him this way. He's probably a good guy, tough situation, and then after the third or fourth, I'm like, no, he's evil. He lied to the police from the first chance he got. He's planning something. He's up to something bad. So it gave me a lot of freedom to go ahead and just be.
So let me ask: does it take a lot of to basically get in the mindset that's really out of your character normally? Whether it's comedic, obviously is one way, but to get to a point, because to really pull off anger and scary, you gotta evoke that emotion. It's like if someone's not really mad and they're trying to act mad, you can kind of spot that. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't feel very intimidated by this guy just yelling at me. But when you look at someone's eyes and you see you know what I mean? Like that beatiness.
There's a scene in this play, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Guy and Michael Bozeman go head to head, and man, they get it spot on. It's so much fun to watch.
So is it hard? Do you have to get yourself to that place, or
a little? Yeah, it's fun though. It's once you're in character for a month or more.
Gotcha.
That's what Deanna said. Her as assistant director, her kids are just used to it. Whenever she takes on her role, she is that person. For 2 months.
Because you hear about method actors, and you hear about there's a few famous ones. Daniel Day-Lewis comes off the top of my head as one that like when he does Lincoln, you're like, no, for 2 months he's Lincoln. You better call him Lincoln, kind of thing. And I understand that, but it seems like for roles like this, you almost have to have a little bit of that. Maybe not to the point where Guy Malone the rest of his day is going around being mean and rude to people at his day job and all that, but certainly when you're at the theater and it's time to do those scenes, I imagine you're thinking of people that ticked you off or just stuff that you know what I mean?
Oh, I want to know.
You know what I mean?
It's worked into my vocabulary a little bit. Yeah. As I say, sir. It does carry with me throughout the day and as I'm talking and doing other things.
Because it's no different than if you're crying or, sadness or any of those other emotions, to do it in a believable way on a stage, or you almost have to go to some dark places yourself to get you there at that point. It's like, because let's face it, fake crying that isn't done right looks bad, and you're just like, it actually detracts from the performance and things.
But it's great comedy.
Exactly. but in a moment where
you don't want it to be,
you turn and that actor's got tears going down your face, like, whoa, this is serious. You know what I mean? And people automatically treat it as such. So so I imagine, and something like Agatha Christie, you got to go that way otherwise it looks like a comedy and not what it's meant to be. So So I imagine is that probably the biggest challenge, is the emotional roller coaster of playing the characters in this
Beverly's got some crying to do in this. A little grieving, we'll say.
I really have to work at it, because by nature, I try to joke everything off.
Gotcha.
I love improv, which is supposed to be funny.
Sure.
So there's not much room for improv with my character. She's very straight-laced.
Gotcha.
And that's good. It's very challenging for me, but I really enjoyed the role.
Gotcha.
It's fun. Yeah.
Good.
The emotions are super high, though. I mean, as a cast and knowing what's going to happen, we did one scene where I know I still had the chills, like 3 or 4. That's the third or fourth time we did it.
Right.
And the way the sergeants deliver their thing. But the emotion, we've had Louise and Deanna both commenting on how well some of you people are making those emotional crescendos and highs and lows. pretty emotional with a mom and a son and
other. How does obviously with a director giving you notes and things like that, how does that, does that, I mean, obviously it helps as far as overall, but obviously everybody has their own idea of what the character should be. And I would imagine there are times where you don't agree with the director or the director agree. You know what I mean? How does that interaction work? Because at the same time this is the director's baby and the director's like, this is my vision. I'm the director. You do my vision. But, it's a creative ensemble. You always want the input. And sometimes, the angle of which you play it or bring it may be better. And I mean, how does that dance work for everybody? Is
ultimately,
it pretty, everyone, obviously a director's in charge and it's what the director says goes, but is it pretty collaborative on the creative side as far as
I'd say it is,
how a certain thing's done or how a sentence is uttered or something like that?
The director has the authority. You obey the director. Ultimately, I mean, they've read the play 10 times before you were ever cast as that role, most likely.
Yeah.
So they understand it a little better. But part of being a good director is drawing out the best in your actors. So what they always tell us, I think it's a constant for the theater, is whatever's on your mind, just go with it.
Right.
Overdo it, do it huge, do it big, make yourself look stupid.
Sure.
And if it works, everybody's like, yay. And then, but otherwise, the director will, they encourage you to be over the top.
Sure.
But if it doesn't work, they'll be, okay, just draw it down a little bit.
Sure.
Up until this point or whatever like that. So they want us to come with our best creative.
Go big, go home. And if it's too big, we can wheel it back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to bring it up than bring it down. If that's, if you're this way, then it's like, all right, we got you level wise. Let's bring you down a little bit. But if someone's comatose, it's a lot harder to bring them to a place that's a lot higher energy level. So if that makes sense.
Oh, it's correct.
And the other thing that I'd add about RCLT, and I don't know, you have a lot more experience with RCLT. I'm kind of new, only in the last couple of years, but
me too.
But that's true. Okay, never mind. I'll just speak with authority.
Y'all are all veterans now.
So what I notice is that every single director I've had the opportunity to work with they're so very good and so very talented. And for a community theater, I just got to say, Roswell is unique.
Absolutely.
Very little infighting, very little territory. The directors are strongly committed to a successful play.
Yeah.
So they want the same thing that the cast wants, and we come together as a team, basically.
It just works out. And and the good news is it's the communal theater. It's a close knit group.
It is.
We're always looking for new folks to come and join and be a part. But
it's a great program.
It's a very social friendly group, and when you're not quote unquote working, you're still hanging out in social. After the work's done, you're like, all right, let's get a pizza together. Let's go and do something
we do
together.
plan that. In fact, we had a group that went out to Carlsbad's little theater yesterday, Sunday.
And that's almost
we do that
every month or whenever they've got something.
3 or 4 a year.
And vice versa. They're coming up to see y'all's plays too. Yeah.
You're right. And we also have a group planned to go see the Addams Family at Way Off Broadway.
Nice.
So we do group outings and membership, plus one, bring someone.
Well, it makes sense because at the end of the day, all of you have the same loves and passions and interests. Why not do it together and share together and collaborate together? I know in years past there has been a bit of a divisive feel there and things, but at the end of the day, it's like, why? You all love the same thing. Let's do it all together. It's like it's like you love sports. I love sport. Let's do sports together. You love acting. I love it. Let's do acting together. It just makes sense. But I love that fam. I think that's what makes it work. I think that's what makes the plays better. I mean, obviously you guys work. I mean, the amount of nights that the whole cast and crew are spending, there's
3 and 4 a week.
Yeah, there's 6 performances here. That's the easy part. To be honest.
You're right.
Showtime is the least work day of the bunch. The rest of the time is when they're doing all the work, whether it's learning the lines, learning the scenes, or, oh, by the way, we got to build a backdrop back here. Can you nail some hammer nails here? By the way, we're short a few costumes. Can we
please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like Broadway where you roll up and do your gig and go home and make $1 million. This is all people that love doing this, and when they're not in front of the house, playing the lead, they're back there building a doorway for the next play, or they're setting up lines for a next event coming up here, or whatever. That's what it's all about. So, I think all you guys need to do is just come and enjoy the fruits of this labor. There's going to be 6 different performances. It's every. I'm telling you, the first performance, it gets busy after that. So if you definitely, they'll always get you in. They will all, they will work.
Far.
But I'm telling you, after weekend 1, weekends 2's tickets are going to be a little bit harder to get.
I think so with this play.
So
it's really good.
Advanced tickets are your friend. You can always get them at the door, but I'm telling you, and get them. But go online, go in the Roswell Theater website, which is roswelltheater.com. Spell theater like live theater, not like movie theater.
R-E at the end,
Theater.
the classic fancy spelling.
Yeah, it's like because I always remember how to spell theater. It's the eater. I think I've said that on the radio a time or two. That's how I remember, and I'm like, it's the eater, but dyslexic eater. T-R-E.
Yeah.
But there you can go, and you're going to see, when you get there, you'll see actually a little scrolling thing with several upcoming events and things. Click on the one for the unexpected guest, and that'll it'll give you the show dates, times. You can order your tickets directly right through there, and then, pay with your card, everything, and then all you need to do is on the night of your performance, show up and say, "Hi, I'm here," and they give you a ticket and let you in, and then maybe you want to get a bottle of water or a shirt or something. Usually they have some stuff there for sale and things. Or usually
we do.
Some.
We have almost a concession, but you have to eat it in the lounge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was
in between. There's a 20-minute intermission.
Yeah.
We're pretty
Plenty of time
excited
to eat
about
a candy bar.
The dinner, though.
We're pretty excited about our immersive dinner as well that goes along with this play.
Yes, this is like for the last several plays now, you guys have been doing an immersive dinner, and basically it's a night of usually a great dinner. The cast serves as your hosts for the night in character. They generally will be giving you, especially with a murder mystery type performance like this one is, they generally give you insight on some things. So things that are part of the story that you may not pick up in the actual live performance. It's kind of like if you like watching like Walking Dead and all those shows. It's like going to watch The Talking Dead afterwards. Where you get the inside skinny on everything. The immersive dinner is kind of like a live dinner version of Talking Dead after Walking Dead, where you get that immersive, and of course the characters are in character, and you can talk and interact with the character as they serve you a delicious.
Yeah, we had to schedule this after both weekend performances.
Yeah,
because interacting with the characters, there could be a lot of spoilers and stuff. This is accurately, as someone who's read it and played it to the end, accurately described as it will keep you guessing wrongly until the end. You do not figure out who the real killer is until the reveal, honestly.
Well, there's a reason why Agatha Christie's a masterful writer and and storyteller. And she's a legend, and because this story, amongst her many others, are brilliantly written stories, and
That's right.
it's a good story. It's just
it's fun.
I'm curious for you guys. Does that make it easier? Like when because obviously a screenplay is probably different than the book. It's not the same. I mean, the story's the same, but the dialogue, the scenes and things some are changed, or to make work on a theater versus in a book where the whole world's your universe, and certain things you can recreate on stage, certain things you just can't accurately. Right. I was curious. Does when you have something that's written by someone as legendary as an Agatha Christie or as well known, does it make it easier because of the way they write, where because good writers are very better at painting a picture. That's what makes them so great and in essence, they're painting a picture for you, and you guys are taking that word and turning it into something you can see and tangible.
And that's why most decent scripts for a play are written by someone else, not the author.
Not the author.
This one is written by someone else.
Sure.
Fully licensed. And in order to do that, they have to be skilled at compacting scene and the use of dialogue to expose the plot, which is contrary to what most good authors write.
They got to describe smells and
they got to put it all in the dialogue.
Yeah.
But it's really up to the director and the actors to make that work. And so we've had a lot of fun with this particular play because we've had to really bring alive some things that any author would just tell or show in scene. So it's a lot of fun.
So it causes you kind of be creative. You're like, all right, it's supposed to be kind of a serene, spooky. How do we recreate that without saying that's what it is?
But there's Easter eggs, and there's no wasted dialogue. I think is a common phrase in that is that every little thing advances the plot a little bit. My guy says early when the police are questioning him, yes, I'm trying to accumulate a little nest egg. Casual conversation, what does that mean? But it's in there for a reason. You realize that's a huge motivator for him later behind why he does what he does.
Which brings up another point, because in comedy, if you skip a line, you can just kind of fumble over it and make a joke. But in drama, you can't.
You're missing a clue or missing a key element of the story. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah, you got to nail it perfect. Or you just change the whole plot of the story.
Yeah, it totally affects whether you get that Easter egg or whether you understand why it's written this way. It totally affects the way you play it as well. It's
that's right.
Oh, I see what she was going for there. We need to be a lot more mad or evil or whatever.
And that's always a good tip when anything you're talking about mystery, especially Agatha Christie. It's every detail you need to pay attention because as minuscule as it seems at the moment they present it, it will come back as a major piece in the story. It's kind of like, again, going back to Comedy World, but if you ever watched the Curb Your Enthusiasm shows on HBO with, he's the guy that wrote Seinfeld, if you ever watched it. And it's a comedy, but everything snowballs in that show where it starts out in some little minor thing, and by the end of the show, it's a major, an international incident. Like every little, it all started off as he nonchalantly just didn't hold the door open for somebody, and now it turns into he almost started World War III. And every episode's like that. Agatha Christie's kind of like that too. And it's like, oh, you didn't pay attention to the pocket watch on the shelf there. That's why it's this and that.
Well, there's actually
but Miss Marple did.
Smart. There's a thing where it says, my guy closes the door as I walk through. If I don't close the door, that changes the plot. Yeah. That changes the actions.
So my best piece of advice when you come out to one of the performances is pay attention.
Pay attention. Yeah, that's good.
Wait until intermission to go to the bathroom because you might miss something.
That's true. True.
But if you're ready to go, first performance will be this Friday night. It'll be October 14th, 15th, and 16th. That's this weekend. The 14th and 15th, those are evening performances at 7:30. And then Sunday afternoon, we'll do it at 2:30 on the 16th.
Yes.
And then we'll do it all over again next weekend, October 21st and 22nd at 7:30 p.m. And then the 23rd will be at 2:30 p.m. that Sunday. Now, the immersive dinner, as Guy was mentioning, will be after the 6 performances here on the 24th.
That's correct.
Now, here's the thing. If you get your tickets now for the immersive dinner, because part of your cost of getting the ticket is a free show. Now, if you get it before the 6 performances, you can use it for a free show for this unexpected guest performance. However, if you're like, ooh, I didn't learn about it till after the shows, or I'm busy those 2 weekends, but I want to come to the dinner, no problem. Come to the dinner, and we'll give you free tickets to a future show.
That's right.
Either way, you're getting your free tickets.
Thank you.
But we would love to have you come. But if you want the free tickets for Agatha Christie's The Unexpected Guest, you need to get your tickets now, and then you can pick your free show before. If you wait till after the 23rd, you're not going to
buy online now in advance, and then pick the date you're going to come to the theater out of the 6.
Communal theater can do a lot of amazing things, but they have not turned back time yet. That's the one thing they've not figured out how to do is put the clock back in time and go back a few days.
We got a fog machine so far. It's a fog machine to the theater.
We need to get
look
Doc
like
Brown
it looked this morning.
Get Doc Brown on it to turn back the clock here.
It's a hyperflux capacitator in the fog machine.
Exactly. That's what we need. But come on out and check out this classic. You know what we never did do? and I probably should have done at the very beginning. We just said, it's Agatha Christie, you'll love it. What's the storyline here? We never did actually say what the plot is here and what the story's about, other than it's Agatha Christie and it's a mystery. Kind of give folks the setup, what the story is.
So, well, it's Agatha Christie. So in the very first scene, someone is dead and moited, in fact. And so an unexpected guest comes in and finds the body.
Okay.
And it just goes from there.
When he finds the body, the wife is standing over it with a gun in her hand.
Yes.
And obviously you think that's it. Or is it?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the plot progresses. There are every single character, with the possible exception of the inspector, is culpable at some point in the play. So you keep guessing wrong.
You're right.
So you're going to guarantee to get it wrong 4 or 5 times before you figure out.
Unless you've read the script, don't cheat.
Yeah,
it's
don't
too
cheat.
much fun.
And if you read the book, don't tell them.
You'll understand. They sort of all have a motivation or a reason or something like that, whether it's anger, greed, or whatever like that. And you're like, so which one really did it, though?
Yeah. Which human...
you won't figure it out.
Very cool. It's going to be good. Folks, get your tickets. Again, RoswellTheater.com, TheAtre. While you're there, check out some of the other stuff that's going on, some of the other upcoming shows, CAPS program and Kids Arts program. Learn more about some of that stuff, too. And if you want to learn more about becoming a volunteer, whether it's serving on the board or, hey, I'd love to help with sound and lighting or costume design or set design, they'd love to have you do that.
And auditions for our next production, Four Old Broads on the High Seas, are next Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I imagine some of that cast has already been set, right?
Well, I don't think it's actually been set. We do auditions every time.
Okay.
So
I just didn't know if we had a few, because some of those characters are returning from a previous.
They are.
From the Four Old Broads originally. So I didn't know if
we still have to audition.
Okay.
Right.
Even
I didn't know
including this Four Old Broad.
I didn't know if some of the ones that played in the original get, default to the sequel as their character, maybe. But.
Yeah, but if you'd like to participate, we're always holding auditions.
Good deal. Yeah,
plenty of room for walk-on stars.
Absolutely.
If you can act or do something a little better than the character, you might replace Beverly here.
Come out.
I'm sorry.
Come out to one of the performances weekend and then stick around and talk to the cast and stuff afterwards, or director or anybody.
Great.
They'd love to fill you in on all that stuff.
We love talking about ourselves. It is so much fun.
Yeah, they're a bunch of hams. Well, break a leg, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you out there this weekend or next. And can't wait to come and
it's a great
see
one.
A great show. I think folks are going to dig it. So thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Mike.
Anytime. All right.
And I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect, and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Foundations and their roles in supporting certain City of Roswell public facilities and activities will be the topic of the city's third public forum. The forum is scheduled for Tuesday, the 18th, at the Roswell Convention Center from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. It will also be accessible on the city's Facebook page and YouTube channel. The forum will be hosted by City Manager Joe Neeb. Citizens are asked to submit their questions and feedback online before the event. Eddy County leaders are moving forward with plans to rehab a park north of Carlsbad. Public Works Director Jason Burns said watering at Happy Valley Park could create more strain to the water supply for users of Happy Valley Water Co-op. And because of that, using drinking water for commercial and recreational purposes was not an option for park improvements. Despite no deal on the water, the teardown of certain portions of the park and cleanup of some playing surfaces will likely move forward by the end of this year. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The White House, with Joe looking more and more out of it every passing day, is apparently now trying to play down his 80th birthday. That'll take place in 12 days after the election. Biden is going to turn 80 years old next month, and he's showing every bit of his age. Let's be blunt. Even Democrats now see it. Even the media mob sees it. The world sees it. Our allies see it. Our enemies see it. I mean, Macron was aghast at these statements about nuclear Armageddon and the worst nuclear situation since the Cuban Missile Crisis, as they should be. What's even more alarming, if Joe believed what he said, then why did he go to the beach in Delaware? Why didn't he go to the Situation Room and prepare to deal with nuclear Armageddon?
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, imagine you're in a room with 4 other people. Statistically, one of you is a victim of identity theft. That's right, 1 in 5. And by the way, these aren't careless people either. They're just probably a lot like you, watching their accounts, watching their credit. But that is not always enough. Now, especially with your personal information in more places than ever before, it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock by Norton, they make it easy to protect yourself. They monitor your identity. They alert you to threats that you could miss on your own. And if you become a victim of identity theft, they'll give you a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist dedicated to your case to work and fix it. Now, look, no one can prevent all identity theft, monitor every single transaction in the world, but everyone can save an additional 25% off their first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock. Go to lifelock.com. Just use the promo code Hannity to get the 25% off. Promo code Hannity, lifelock.com, 1-800-LifeLock. Save 25%.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Temperatures will stay pretty comfortable over the next couple of days with a fair weather pattern in place. High pressure is off to our west, and that'll be covering our area with sunshine today. Our afternoon high should be in the low 80s, down to 50 and clear for the overnight hours. Lots of sun coming up on Thursday. Looks like we'll stay in the upper 70s and then back up to about 80 with plenty of sunshine Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got some soccer action going on yesterday, and the Roswell girls soccer team really gave Hobbs all it wanted on the road before falling. Hobbs won last night by a 5-4 count, but it went into overtime before the Eagles could claim victory. Roswell is now 3-1 in district, looking for that first district win. They'll try again on Saturday on the road at Carlsbad. That starts at 1 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Roswell boys lost at home to a Hobbs team that's now 14-3-1 overall. That was a blowout. 7-0 was the final score there. Roswell will play at home against Carlsbad boys soccer Saturday at 1 o'clock. Got a volleyball score from last night. Hagerman moves to 2-0 in district play, 7-7 overall, beating Tatum in a 3-0 sweep. Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The Labor Department's Producer Price Index shows wholesale inflation rose 8.5% in September from 1 year earlier, and prices were up 0.4% in September from August. They followed 2 consecutive month-over-month declines. The British economy facing new shocks after the Bank of England ruled out extending an emergency debt-buying plan designed to stabilize financial markets. Bank Governor Andrew Bailey said the scheme will end on Friday as scheduled, and the pound fell by close to 1% after he spoke. European leaders turning to Africa for more natural gas, trying to replace Russian energy amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. Wall Street spent the morning bouncing between gains and losses following a release of the Producer Price Index. Now the market's bracing for the closely watched Consumer Price Index, which is due out tomorrow. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
After a week off, your Goddard Rockets are ready to soar into the district season. And it all starts this Friday as your Rockets land in the Wool Bowl to take on the Trojans of Mayfield High. Fiera 106.1 FM and KSVPTV.com have got you covered. Join Chris Deck and Chris Roybal for the pregame beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Rockets versus the Trojans of Mayfield High. Friday beginning at 6:45 on Fiera 106.1 FM and online at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor. John runs with us. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 3 Series tractor with 0% APR for 72 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2316.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia or Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
After a week off, your Roswell Coyotes are ready to make this a district season for the ages. It all starts this Friday as your Coyotes travel to the Bulldog Bowl to take on the Bulldogs of Artesia High. 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, and KSVPTV.com will have all the action. Join Art Sandoval and Kelly McDonald for the pregame beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Coyotes versus the Bulldogs of Artesia High. Friday beginning at 6:45 on 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, and online at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
I'm Michelle Garcia Holmes, and I'm running for United States Congress. As a former policewoman, I put on my Kevlar vest, uniform, gun belt, grabbed my 12-gauge shotgun, jumped into my police car, and hit the city streets to keep you safe. I want to do the same for you in Washington. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th because our families deserve safe cities, a secure border, and lower gas prices.
Donate today at GarciaHolmesForCongress.com. Paid for by Michelle Garcia Holmes for Congress.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2022.
2nd and 5.
Only heard here.
Coming right to left in the white jerseys, silver helmets, and pants rush under pressure.
All season.
Throws deep. Skinny post. Walk in. CeeDee Lamb.
Sunday night, it's your Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Live from Lincoln Financial Field.
On this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Sunday at 5 p.m. on your Dallas Cowboys station. 92.9, The Brand.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:56. Got a couple minutes here before we wrap up today's show. Of course, if you missed any part, don't forget, you can log on at your leisure. In your leisure. Whatever your leisure is. Yeah, leisure suit. Whatever you leisurely do.
Give yourself an old-fashioned Zoot Suit riot.
There you go. That's twice in 2 days I've mentioned Zoot Suit.
Really?
Yeah, because Robert Reynolds was on yesterday, and it wasn't in this community, but it was in like Alamogordo or somewhere. They're having a Zoot Suit dance or something.
Really?
Yeah.
One of my favorite dance sequences in any movie of all time is the Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone swing dance in Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past.
To the song, don't forget to shout, hey, Mr. Zoot Suit. And when you see him walk by with that big suit, don't forget to shout, hey, Mr. Zoot Suit. Yeah, I've seen that movie way too many times.
You know what I think of? And it's not a musical. It's Malcolm X, the Spike Lee movie.
Yeah.
That came out in the 90s, I think it was, with Denzel Washington. It's an entertaining movie if you've never seen it. It's a really good movie. I know people have a thing. Some people don't like Spike Lee.
It's one of those hard to go back to.
Well, you know me and history and all that. But in the early days of Malcolm X, before he was the doing the civil rights and all that stuff, he worked Harlem area, and he was working the hustle, working the numbers, the lottery, and in the honky tonks and the speakeasies, doing all that, and he was drinking and gambling and women and doing living what a typical young man does in their 20s, living life. But and he had red hair. He was called Red. He used to get his hair straightened and everything and all that. But the suits, man, the zoot suits that him and his compatriots wore in that movie, it's almost like the bad guys from Dick Tracy. You know what I'm talking about?
Just super crisp shoulders.
Bright yellow, this red that is like Corvette red, flaming fire engine red, or a purple pin, something. I mean, very stylish.
Hats with feathers.
And I'm just like, were they that?
Well, that was the style of the time.
But those colors, were they? I mean, or is that more of a modern
I would
twist?
think when you were kind of like a man, African American man of that time that was sort of like, of means.
Yeah, that's just it. I think they the zoot suits and everything, but that yellow, that red, I just don't think those were colors they wore back in the 20s. They still
do it today. It's called sneaker culture.
I'm talking about the 20s, though. I just don't think those were popular colors.
I don't know.
I think they would have gone with more brighter
That
grays.
could have been a director's choice.
Yeah,
also.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those hats look comical, not...
If Malcolm X was like a Fosse joint, then I could see that.
Yeah. That's just, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Just my impression. But anyway, zoot suits, that's where I go to is the Malcolm X movie, one of those wild yellow suits and everything. So,
whole point of this, ksbptv.com. Check our show out. It'll be on socials later.
There you go. We got to go. Have an amazing day. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
See you.
KEND or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll talk to you bright and early. Mañana.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Inflation at the wholesale level rose 8.5% in September from a year earlier. Its third straight decline, though it's still painfully high. The report from the Labor Department also showed that the Producer Price Index, which measures price changes before they reach the consumer, rose 0.4% in September from August after 2 months of declines. The Biden administration urging the Supreme Court to stay out of a legal fight over classified documents seized from